San Diego, it's time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the Gaslamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime year.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
What's up, San Diego? And a happy Monday to everybody out there in America's finest city. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We got a lot to get to today on the Braden Surprenant Show. We got Aztecs football we're going to lock into. College basketball is in full force. We got actually have a college basketball guest coming on today. Jamie Dixon of the TCU Horned Frogs, head basketball coach of the TCU Horned Frogs, will join us at 11 a.m. Pacific time as they get ready for the Radies Children's Invitational that will happen on Thanksgiving Thursday and on Black Friday. TCU, Florida, Providence, and Wisconsin all coming to town for what is one of the best multi-team events in the country. It's going to be fun to see. So we will be all excited about that coming up in a little bit. As I mentioned, Aztec football. We got a lot of Aztec basketball later on this week. They're playing in the Players Invitational out in Vegas. They're going to be taking on some prolific teams in Michigan and Oregon, at least out of the get-go. And then after that, who knows who they might be seeded against to play when it comes to college basketball. We got Padres baseball. They made some moves as soon as we signed off on Friday. That was at like 2:01, Frank, where we got the moves of the tenure and non-tenure contracts.
Well, you know, they listen. They enjoyed some of our conversations about the team so much lately that they decided to hold off on us.
Well, they do that a lot. It's a lot of those things. Gwen and Chris usually get updates around 6 o'clock. Ben and Woods get updates at 10 o'clock. So sometimes we get some of those breaking news.
It's just the radio gimmick.
And then on to 2 o'clock.
You want the news, and it has to wait.
That's right. So then 2 o'clock, we had some news and notes that we're going to get to in the 11 o'clock hour. And then, of course, the MLS is back tonight. We got San Diego FC in action tonight for the MLS Cup Playoffs. We're taking on Minnesota tonight. And again, we'll have Drake Hills on later on at 1:35 to give us a preview of tonight's match. Last Friday, we talked more about World Cup qualifying. And today, we're going to talk more about the MLS and talking about San Diego FC getting ready to go in tonight's game, and a big playoff game for San Diego FC as they're in the conference semifinals. So a lot to talk about on the show today. Should be a fun one. Want to get your phone calls as well. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Talk a lot about Padres baseball and San Diego FC and Aztecs football and basketball and everything in between today on the Braden Surprenant Show. Now, we already know that Vancouver had defeated LAFC as Vancouver won 4-3 in penalty kicks to advance. So the 2-seed Vancouver is going to be in the conference finals, and they're awaiting San Diego and Minnesota. Tonight, San Diego and Minnesota are playing. They're the last conference semifinal game to go. Miami already punched their ticket to the conference finals, as well as New York City. So those are the three teams that have already advanced to the conference finals, and they're just waiting on San Diego, Minnesota, which will kick off tonight at 7 o'clock. A couple of upsets, Frank, on the eastern side of the MLS.
Yeah, to see that New York City FC beat the, I want to say the President's Trophy winner, but it's not, the Supporter Shield winners of Philadelphia Union. That was really impressive to see. That was the least expected result, and they're the lowest seed remaining. They were the only one that upset their first round matchup, and now are going for and now doing it again to the overall number one seed in the playoffs. That was very surprising to me.
We're going to talk to Drake about tonight's game, but how do you feel about tonight's game between San Diego and Minnesota? What are you looking for?
I'm looking for San Diego FC to come back and do exactly what they did in Game 3 against Portland. Game 2 was a nice little kick. I'm sorry, Game 1 was a nice little kick. Immediately got knocked back to earth with a goal right after you had scored the 2. And then just an off night for Game 2, and right back on business for Game 3. You've had some time off. Some of the players for both clubs were off on international duty over the last couple of weeks, and World Cup qualifiers, international friendlies. It's going to be quite the game to watch, especially with the time off.
And right here in San Diego at Snapdragon Stadium tonight at 7:00. We'll talk more about that later on in the show. We got some NFL to talk about as well. How about them Cowboys, huh? Beating the Eagles?
Yeah.
How about that?
And they were down 21-0.
They were
they not?
They were down 21-0, and the Cowboys came back, kicked a game-winning field goal to knock off the Eagles, and that puts exactly where we thought things were going to be, the LA Rams in first place in the NFC.
Yep.
They're the best team in the NFC. That was a big takeaway. Hey, your boy Shador, Frank, maybe should have been playing the whole season.
Yeah,
Just
right?
ask him.
Yeah, exactly.
Just ask him.
Dope.
Again, his post game was great. This is only 1 week of practice. Imagine if I was doing this the whole season. Come on, bro. You're playing the Raiders. Shador Sanders did so well that the Raiders fired their offensive coordinator yesterday. That's how bad the Raiders are. Or maybe that's how good Shador Sanders is. Chip Kelly cannot get things done in the NFL, can he?
No,
absolutely not. And what did I say about the Chiefs, dude? Things are going to they're going to start, the ball's going to start bouncing in the right direction for Kansas City. They knock off Indianapolis.
They win, but look at the thought and the way that you feel about certain 6-5 teams. Most people feel, wow, the Chiefs are lucky to be 6-5 right now. Meanwhile, you take a look down, you take a look out east, and you see what the Baltimore Ravens have done over the last couple of weeks.
They're trending in the right direction.
Yeah, and you're going, wow, this is a really, really good 6-5 team that hit some struggles early. That's really all you need to know about the two sides. I would easily take Baltimore in a game over Kansas City right now.
So would I. That doesn't mean the ball's not going to bounce their way, though. I'm just telling you. They're going to stink their way in the playoffs.
Or they're going to have it forced their way,
I thought Pittsburgh, by the way, was going to be able to beat Chicago. That was one of the games that I thought they were going to win.
It was a close game, too.
In their next handful of games. Not great for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Ravens are going to come back and win. They're going to be in first place a lot faster than I think. Aren't they tied for first place now?
Yes, they are. They're
already tied. They're already tied. The Ravens will be in first place by the end of the week. Because aren't they playing on Thursday? I think they're playing on Thanksgiving.
Let me see. I'm
pretty sure the Ravens are the night game on Thanksgiving.
The Ravens are playing Cincinnati, yes.
Yeah. Ravens will be in first place on Black Friday by themselves.
Cowboys and Chiefs. Who do the officials help in that game?
Oh, man. Well, the Chiefs, dude, for sure. They don't like Jerry Jones. How about a couple of 500 ball clubs? Chiefs 6-5, Cowboys 5-1.
The Friday night game this week is also really good.
Bears and Eagles will be at noon on Friday.
Both 8-3.
A noon kickoff for a football game on Black
Prime.
Friday.
On Prime, too.
Yeah, on Prime Video. And then Packers Lions is a good way. Packers and Lions is a good way to get your morning started on Thanksgiving. How about that?
Oh, on Thanksgiving. I was like, wait, no,
Thanksgiving.
they're not playing in Europe.
Packers and Lions, 10 a.m. on Thanksgiving. Chiefs and Cowboys at 1:30. Bengals and Ravens are the night game. And then Friday night, or Friday afternoon, because the game's at noon, Bears and Eagles at noon. And then Sunday's got some pretty decent games as well. We'll talk NFL football later on in the show
that Packers-Lions game is also going to be for first place, too.
It is.
Because the Packers are a half a game up on Detroit. No, second place. Second place.
The Bears.
Yeah, exactly. For second place, my bad.
The Bears.
So a lot to get to when it comes to the NFL as well. We're going to get to that later on. We got high school football. We had some fun games in high school football on Friday. A lot of games coming down to the wire. Semifinal games are usually some of the best. We have now our championship games set. And the first set of championship games will be tomorrow night. It will be Cathedral Catholic and Carlsbad at 7 o'clock at Southwestern College tomorrow. And then on Friday, There will be, I think, 2 games at Southwestern College, and then Saturday there will be 3 games at Southwestern College, as all of the divisions will be done by the end of the week and get you ready for see who's representing San Diego in the state playoffs in California. So should be a good one tomorrow night. Again, I encourage you guys to go out there to Southwestern College, 7 o'clock tomorrow, Carlsbad and Cathedral Catholic. It should be a fun time. You got to get your tickets online at gofan.co. That's how you get all your tickets for all of these high school football games coming up this weekend at Snapdragon Stadium. It is $3 to park at Southwestern College. So that's also what you got to do. Meet up with Frank at the Bell across the street before. Did you get your credential?
I did not, but I will be getting it on. I did get it. I haven't physically gotten it. No.
You're gonna get on Tuesday?
Yes.
They said get down there early. It's Southwestern College still has school tomorrow, and they're hoping that Southwestern College. They're assuming that they're hoping that a lot of kids don't go to class tomorrow night. Which, if that's the case, why don't you just cancel the classes and let's move on? But anyway. That's the high school football update for you as well. We got some good games. Division I is going to be a fun contest too, between Granite Hills and Lincoln. I'm looking forward to that game later in the week. I can't remember off the top of my head what days they play on, because we have all these different games and different times throughout San Diego. But I'll get you that information in just a little bit. But Saturday was for the San Diego State Aztecs. Get a little bit of weather, but not too much. They've got the job done against San Jose State, who's just struggling right now on both sides of the ball. And now San Diego State is a game away from hosting the Mountain West Conference Championship game on December 5th. What did we see out of the game against San Jose State? We'll talk about it when we come back, and exactly what needs to play about for the Aztecs to host the Mountain West Championship game. Do they still have a chance of the playoff? Slight, but not a lot. Didn't get a lot of favors done for you over the weekend. We'll talk about that in college football. Hear from Sean Lewis, and when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's number one sports station, 97 through the Fan. 10:17 on a Monday. All guests on 97 The Fan join us on the David P. Shapiro Fan Hotline. I'm David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys helping good people regain control of their future when charged with a crime since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. We have had the all-star of... Somebody has compiled the all-star of the Texas A&M police tweets. The top 4.
Thank goodness.
One from the Auburn game, one from the Mississippi State game, one from the Florida game, and one from the Samford game.
Let me have it.
All right. You ready for this? Let's go back to the Auburn game. So, for anybody that's just tuning in that doesn't understand this, Texas A&M police at TAMU police. They tweet out all of these ejections and arrests for people doing crazy things on College game day down in College Station. It's kind of the funniest Twitter account ever. Now, how do you have issues at the Samford game? Well, we're going to get there, Go Aztecs. Boredom. Playing, I mean, those games in general are a joke. The week 15, right before you play the your rival on Thanksgiving week, you decide to go play like an FCS school. Ridiculous. I don't know why the SEC continues to get away with that, but that's neither here nor there. Let's talk about these tweets. All right. Texas A&M police, they tweeted out this on September 27th. Public intoxication, PA 102, unable to walk, given opportunity to call a sober friend, but he locked himself out of his phone. Arrested, period. Locked himself out of his phone. Got him arrested.
There you go. Attaboy.
The Mississippi State game on October 4th. Texas A&M police tweeting out. Public intoxication ×2. Responded to report of intoxicated subject in men's restroom near section 334, 335. Called sober friend. Sober friend arrived intoxicated. Arrested. Both of them. So they gave the guy an opportunity to call a sober friend and take him home. Sober friend shows up. He's actually just as intoxicated as drunk friend. And they both get arrested.
I was going to say that's very thoughtful of their parents to assume to name the kid sober friend.
Sober friend arrived intoxicated. Period. Arrested. Period. That's the best part. Just arrested. Period. Public intoxication. This is the game against Florida on October 11th. The all-star picks of the Texas A&M police tweets. Public intoxication. Aggie Park. Contacted subject eating a sandwich with a water jug of whiskey. Blood alcohol level was 337.
Oh, yeah, this was the one that got us on this account.
Yeah. Released to EMS. Like, this guy's got more alcohol in his blood than it really is needed.
Well,
337. This is the one that got me, though. This is the Samford game. Go Aztecs. This is funny. This guy's in trouble. How much is this guy in trouble? Well, you're about to find out. Public intoxication, section 128, Frank.
Mm-hmm.
Intoxicated subject found staring at a wall. Released to sober girlfriend. Ejected. That guy's getting yelled at. Released to sober girlfriend.
Is he going to get yelled at? Because I have a feeling.
Staring at a wall.
I have a feeling that yelling at him is going to be like yelling at a wall.
Yeah, he has
because
he's staring at the wall.
I don't think he's hearing a single thing she's saying. And that's not out of will either.
Go Aztecs. He'd rather look at the wall than his girlfriend. Bad move.
Ouch.
Soon to be ex-girlfriend. But it's possible. That one was funny. The one that got me, though, is the calls sober friend. Sober friend arrives intoxicated. College football is the gift that keeps on giving.
What do you say as the responding officer on that? So you are sober friend, huh?
How do they go about
Only
this
in
with
college?
How do they go about this without laughing their ass off? Like keeping a straight face. This is why they have the Twitter account. They probably all have access to it and they're all tweeting about it.
I I would
Locked
be,
out a phone,
if
arrested.
I were going to be a cop, I would want to be a campus police officer in a rowdy college town, because that is where I will have stories for days.
But most of those are retired cops. I did some stuff for TCU PD,
Mm-hmm.
and like the guys that were there were like retired
Yeah.
Fort Worth police. What a great gig that is.
But if you want stories for days, that is it. That's the gig you go for.
Staring at a wall, released to sober girlfriend. Should have said RIP afterwards, not ejected.
Listen, I don't drink, so I don't know what that's like. I have gotten chewed out a couple times, and it's not fun. But when you are so out of it that you're just there staring at a wall, did it specify what wall? Was it like a bathroom wall, or did it just say the wall?
It just said staring at a wall.
Staring
An wall.
Yeah, staring at an wall. I could not imagine being that out of it, that I'm just staring at an wall.
Well, that's what's going on at Texas A&M. Aside from the fact that their football team is really good, let's talk about the Aztec game.
Nate, it's not Narc Squad. These things that happened.
They have already happened.
Yeah, they've already happened, and they post it.
They're just walking around like, all right, dude, this guy's staring at a wall. Excuse me, sir. Have you been drinking today? No. Am I talking to a wall now? Can you call your girlfriend to pick you up, please? That's kind of like, at some point, it probably gets irritating. Probably gets irritating at some point.
Yeah, if you're a retired police officer dealing with
drunk college kids,
yeah, I don't have too much patience for drunk people as it is.
I don't have a lot of patience for people in general. I felt like Matt Scraby this weekend when I had to go to Disneyland. My friend had a wedding. My friend had her friend's wedding.
Yes.
At the Grand Californian, so we turned it into like going to Disneyland for 3 days.
You missed a great Ducks game.
I was falling on my phone. But anyway, the people, I felt like Matt Scraby. I felt like I was about to have a rant. A Scraby, what does Scraby call his things?
Oh, God.
What is it called?
Hold on.
His gripes.
Yes, there it is.
I was having some serious gripes. A lot of people walking around Disneyland. The wherewithal was crazy. But let's talk about Aztec football. You were at the game.
Yes.
What do we got? From Frank Marchese.
Didn't rain. It was cold.
That's good. What was the attendance like? Not great.
I think there were probably more players and media combined than there were people there. It did look full. Like during the second and third quarters, it looked like it was kind of full. But as far as like the student section was bare,
Thanksgiving break.
Yeah, that's exactly what you said.
It looked like around the country, most places had low attendance.
Yeah,
because it's the beginning of Thanksgiving break. A lot of schools now have Monday and Tuesday off. Like, how many of you in the YouTube chat? Like, how many of you guys have are your kids at school today? I remember going to. I swear I had to go to school on Monday and Tuesday, and then half days on Wednesdays. But if you're a college kid and you have the whole week off, you're flying back home. You're not going to stay for the game. You're going to go home. And that was the case around a lot of colleges this weekend. I mean, I watched the TCU Houston game. Houston had nobody at their game. Houston's ranked. I mean, they're a ranked football team. They had nobody at their game. But since everybody doesn't have school this week, I think a lot of people are just flying around. So I'm not surprised that San Diego State didn't have a huge crowd, especially for the students. And guess what? They were not going to get a huge crowd on Saturday if they're hosting this weekend either. That was the weekend last year that everybody complained like, oh, nobody's at the game. It's like it's Thanksgiving holiday. They're not going to be there. I don't care how good the team is. Unless it's a big party school that is circled around their football team or an SEC school, you're not going to get a lot of people in San Diego State to stay for the games that are kids. You're just not going to get that. But overall, defense looks like it continues the ball out.
Yeah.
And if it's not for the rushing game for San Diego State, I don't know how many points they're probably scoring.
Two interceptions on defense. Chris Johnson's interception was incredible. I thought it was knocked away. I didn't realize that he had picked that ball off because the guy for San Jose State caught it. and he just happened to have his arm in, and when he braced himself to land, he kind of brought it in and took it out of his hands. So a very nice play from Chris Johnson. Offense, Jaden Denigal confuses me so much. He can throw multiple 50-yard dots, but he can't complete a screen pass. He can't complete a check down. And not like close, like, oh, the receiver should have had that. He was sailing it on guys on checkdowns and screens. Like there were no chance the receiver had to get that. Rushing touchdown by Denigal in the first quarter. Should have had it on the play prior, but what do I know? I was only sitting on the goal line. But yeah, that offense is a real concern. I think it looked early like they had gotten lucky because San Jose State missed 2 field goals. The first one, I couldn't tell seeing it. I couldn't tell if he just shanked it or if it was blocked. And the second one, he just missed. He just missed wide left. Go Aztecs is saying he slipped, which fair. I mean, it had rained earlier in the day. But it looked like they were going to just barely cover, and got lucky that they missed the 2 field goals. But the defense kept rolling. Defense just kept doing what they were doing. They got a 2-point conversion on that first touchdown, so that worked out well for them as well. And yeah, I mean, a solid game from the defensive side. Offense,
the offense has been like that the last couple of weeks, it seems like. I mean, you could blame the rain all you want against Boise State. There was not as much rain against San Jose State, a team that fired their defensive coordinator and their special teams coordinator, a team that was just struggling, a team that had multiple backup quarterbacks playing for the Spartans. And then, I'll go back to the Denigal thing. Like, Matt Johnson, the offensive coordinator for San Diego State, came on Gwynn and Chris at the beginning part of the season. And he talked about, you got to view Jaden Denigal as like a freshman quarterback because he hasn't had a lot of time playing college football. And if you don't have experience playing in games of college football, you are like a freshman out there. But here's where, and I believe that at the beginning part of the season. But the problem is, it doesn't seem like he's getting better. He's staying the same or getting worse. Mm-hmm. And I know he's got multiple shoulder issues in both of his arms. And maybe that's a big setback, but like a lot of teams are starting to realize that guys like Lucky Sutton are going to get the ball a lot. And Christian Washington's going to get the ball a lot. And Byron Cardwell's going to get the ball a lot. And you look at the box score at the end of the game.
Yeah, Jordan Napier's out as well.
Yeah, and they lost Napier for the season.
That drop by, I believe it was Acevedo in the first quarter, he was gone by 15 yards. It was in his hands. He didn't have to reach for it. He just booted.
Got to be able to catch the ball.
I mean, that was like oh my goodness,
brutal
moment.
And what San Diego State cannot do is play down to their competition like San Jose State. You know what? And the defense balled out again. They held them to 3 points. They had the 2 missed field goals, as mentioned before. 25 points for the Aztecs against San Jose State is it's not great. It's okay. I mean, you took care of business against the Spartans. You got to win out of it. Now you got to be able to win against New Mexico on the road. That's going to be a tougher game. New Mexico has had a good season, and they're right there in that mess that is the playoff standings mess. That is a mess in the in the teams in the standings behind San Diego State. Aztecs with a win would guarantee that they get to host the Mountain West Championship game. Yes. Loss, and now all of a sudden they got a lot of teams battling in second place. The other thing too, I guess, well, if the Aztecs win, there's a good chance there's like a bunch of teams that have 3 losses. If Boise State loses to Utah State, they'd have 3 losses. Utah State would have 3 losses. Hawaii would need to win. Fresno State would need to win. UNLV and a loss to Nevada, and New Mexico losing to San Diego State. All of a sudden, you have 6 teams all tied with the same record for second place, and computer rankings take into effect. That's insane. UNLV should be able to beat Nevada, though. I mean, UNLV is a lot better than Nevada is. Nevada's not very good. San Jose State was Nevada's one and probably only win, of the season. But of the Mountain West play, I guess they got another one in there.
Yeah, Nevada won yesterday.
What did they beat?
I believe it was Wyoming.
Oh, they beat Wyoming?
I believe so.
That's a tough day for Wyoming. You retire Josh Allen's number and you can't even beat Nevada at home?
Oops.
Going back to the box score for the Aztec football game, we're going to take a break. Denegal 8 for 16 for 81 yards. That's not great. Lucky Sutton had 20 carries, 79 yards, and a touchdown. Brown had 2 receptions for 63 yards.
And that one reception was that 40-yard pass that he caught. So Denegal got half of his yards on one throw.
Right. So we'll see what happens this week again. They got to be able to play a little bit better of they got to be better on offense against New Mexico, especially since they're on the road. A thing that has cost San Diego State a lot this year. When we come back, we'll hear what Sean Lewis had to say about the game as the Aztecs were able to knock off San Jose State. One more win. They get to host the Mountain West Championship game. They will play on Saturday against New Mexico on the road. We'll talk more about that as we continue on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego State Sports Station 97 through the Fan. This hour 97 to the Fan is brought to you by Mission Fed. From first accounts to big life moments, Mission Fed can help. Saving shouldn't be stressful. Mission Fed makes it easier with great rates on savings, certificates, and ultra money market accounts. Grow your money the smart way. Check the latest rates and open an account at missionfed.com. Membership and account criteria apply. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We're going to dive into some Padres news in the 11 o'clock hour. Jamie Dixon of TCU will join us in the next segment to preview the Radies Children's Invitational. Should be a fun tournament this week here in town. TCU, Florida, Providence, and Wisconsin are all in town for college basketball. We have some Aztecs basketball we want to dive into later. They have a big tournament coming up in Vegas this weekend on the road. They'll be taking on Michigan at the end of the week, so should be a fun time. It's Thanksgiving week, and we appreciate all of you guys joining us here as you get everything ready for your Turkey Day on Thursday. We got great football games coming up on Thursday. We got high school football tomorrow, as well as high school football on Friday. We'll give you the full preview of who's playing where. We got San Diego FC tonight in the MLS Cup Playoffs. We'll have Drake Hills on later on today to talk about that as well. But overall, a lot to talk about when it comes to the weekend in sports and the upcoming week in sports. We will be on today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, and we will be off Thursday and Friday, and then see you again next week. I know the morning show is following the same schedule as us, and then I know the afternoon show is off Wednesday. They're going to be on today, but I think that's it. I think they're only taking Wednesday off. Chris Ello is in the Bahamas right now for Aztecs women's basketball.
Lucky duck.
Got to call the right teams, get to the right spots, right tournaments, the right time. So we'll talk a lot about that as we continue. We're talking about Aztec football here in the first hour. Do you want to get your phone calls to 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Let's get out to Derek in La Mesa. Derek, what's going on, man?
What's going on, fellas? Hey, I know I'm a little late to the game here, but I had to laugh at the Texas A&M PD. So as a former retired police officer for a very large state agency here in California, I arrested a guy one night for DUI. And we typically didn't cite and release people to sober parties, but there were times when we did. There were exceptions. This was one of those exceptions. So I get this guy's wife's telephone number, and I call her. And as we always do, I told her, I said, okay, ma'am, you're going to be responsible for him. But most importantly, don't show up to my office under the influence of alcohol or drugs. Oh, no, I'm fine. And I had some suspicion. And I said, okay, well, I'm just telling you, we have to make sure. So I'm sitting in our closed lobby so I could actually observe her drive. She drives in, she's by herself, gets out of the car, comes into the office, hammered.
Oh, no.
So I proceed to run her through field sobriety tests and arrest her too. So husband and wife got to ride in the back of my patrol car together as I dropped his wife off at Las Colinas and then take him down to Central Jail. Absolutely unbelievable. And this happened a couple of times in my career. It's mind-boggling because it's full-blown DUI at that point.
Yeah.
And I warned you, and you did it anyway. So that just made me laugh. I had to call in and tell you guys. And hey, go Ducks.
Yeah. Hey, Ducks, big win over the weekend. That was a good one against SC. Derek, that's hilarious. There's a lot of that's why that account is just so funny. Insane. All right, Frank. Let's talk about what Sean Lewis had to say in the game on Saturday. Did you go down to the press conference afterwards?
I did not. No, I actually got out kind of quick after that game. It was cold. I forgot my jacket, and
come on, man.
Yeah. Listen, normally I'd be okay, but this is my first winter without my winter coat. I'm getting cold a little bit easier now. I'm not complaining. I
Guy's
enjoy
getting
it.
soft out here in San Diego.
It's not getting well.
He's getting soft.
It's not getting soft. It's getting 135 pounds lighter.
Oh, that's what the winter coat is off now.
Yes, that's what I mean. I've lost my winter coat.
Guy's gonna be frigid in Baltimore.
Oh no, I'll be ready. I'll be ready for Baltimore. I know what that's like. I've been through that many times in my life. I'm not complaining at all. I'm just saying, without a coat or something.
Guy's blood is thinning in Southern California.
Oh, stop it!
Just saying. New Yorker over here can't handle the winter of not even winter time yet in San Diego. Man, that's a foul on Frank, dude.
This is my first winter.
He draws the foul.
This is my first winter under 300 pounds in about 10 years. So don't give me that.
Come on. I don't get that cold in San Diego.
Brother.
Can't be the New Yorker guy and talk about like how cold it gets in New York and stuff.
I wasn't complaining.
Well, if that's the case, then you're going to be frigid in Baltimore.
I was not complaining. I wasn't complaining. I wasn't sitting there like my mother going, oh my God, it's so cold every 5 seconds. I'm sitting there trying to warm up my hands the best I can, sitting on them.
Those frigid temperatures on Saturday at Snapdragon Stadium.
I will be prepared.
Brave the cold tonight and go to the MLS game?
I will be prepared, and you will not hear me complain once in Baltimore.
All right.
You will not hear me complain once. As a matter of fact, you will see me doing snow angels at some point if it snowed.
Snow angels.
Yes.
We'll be getting that on video.
Fine.
If that is the case.
I'm good with that.
All right. Let's get to what Sean Lewis had to say. Sean Lewis, opening statement after the win over San Jose State on Saturday.
Well, that was fun. It was a great way to send out the seniors to be undefeated at home. It's something that we talked very early about in training camp. And when we opened the season against Stony Brook, that good teams defend their home soil. And very pleased to be able to do that this evening and honor our seniors who have been a huge piece, obviously, of their commitment to our process, our way of doing things that bought in very, very early on to all the changes that we made. And then recommitted to that process before the start of this year. So a lot of hard work has led up to this moment, has led up to, the journey that we've been on, the climb that we've been on, day by day, step by step, has created great evenings like this. So pretty special to do something that hasn't been done since 1996. Pretty unique and pretty special to lead a team that has beat Boise, beat the team up north, and feels like any other team in California right now. So doing a great job with the guys. Staff's doing a tremendous job. Really, really pleased. And the really cool thing is that we get to continue to do great work, and each opportunity that we go out, becomes even more meaningful. So great win, and really excited to turn the page on a short week here as we go. Tomorrow is Monday for us as we get to take on a great New Mexico team that I believe, if I'm not mistaken, won this evening. So there'll be a great battle down there with some really good coaches and some really good players and some really high quality ball that will get here quickly.
High quality ball. I do like the fact that Sean Lewis still continues to call Fresno State the team up north. That's kind of fun. I do like that. Overall, again, there's not much he could say. They obviously didn't play that well, but they got the job done. At this point, style points out the door. You're just trying to win a Mountain West championship game and then see where the cards lay. Unfortunately for San Diego State, a lot of the things that they needed to go right did not go right. One of them being James Madison. James Madison beat Washington State 24-20 over the weekend. So that's a tough blow. They still have some time for James Madison to potentially lose, but that's part of the conversation. San Diego State will play on Friday, so they do have the Black Friday game, 12:30 on CBS Sports Network. Because I forgot there's tons of games on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, this whole weekend in college football, which is fun to watch. So anyway, Aztec football. Not a lot to say, but they got the job done against San Jose State. Now, in terms of like what they needed to happen, if I remember correctly, it was like James Madison needed to lose. They won. In the American Conference, again, they needed some help there. I don't think they got any of that help. They needed, Tulane to lose. They beat Temple big time. They also needed North Texas to lose. They beat Rice. I mean, they need Navy to lose coming up, but I don't know if they're going to get Navy to lose. There's just a lot of stuff that needs to go right for them to make the college football playoff. Navy and Memphis is a game coming up on Thursday on Thanksgiving, so that's an interesting game to pay attention to this week. And a Navy loss would help the Aztecs a little bit, but I just think San Diego State football is, if they can win the Mountain West Championship game, that's a hell of a season for a team that was not good the last 2 years. And it's a step in the right direction. Is it enough to get people on board to watch? I don't really know if that's the case. I think they're doing a good job with trying to lower ticket prices, but I think it's going to take years of them being able to put together wins. They have to put together winning season after winning season after winning season to try to get the casual fans to go out there and watch Aztec football. And even then, if they're able to do that, don't you think, Frank, a team's going to come knocking for Sean Lewis?
Yeah. That's why I said it a couple of weeks ago. I said, he better quit messing. They better stop winning because he's going to mess around and find himself with a Power 4 job.
That's right. Let's talk about what Sean Lewis had to say on playing against a different quarterback than expected.
Players make plays, and obviously the quarterback and the trigger man, when they have different skill sets, when they have different styles, you got to have a really focused approach to how you're going to do that, right? So, seeing all three of those quarterbacks with each a uniquely different approach, there has to be relentless focus and elite technique and fundamentals to execute the call that's being made, and then trusting your brothers that are out there that they're going to do their piece so that you can leverage the ball, you can be gap sound, you can have coverage, stability. I thought we did a good job of that. Obviously, we bled some yards tonight, but to keep a net over the explosive plays and to play kind of a bend but don't break approach, I think was really smart by Coach Rob and the approach that they took, and the way that we went about the game. And so again, it happened to be multiple quarterbacks that we saw, but again, being able to execute the call, owning that within the white lines by our players was really impressive.
Sean Lewis talking about obviously the defense on Saturday. And I thought that the defense has been playing great. They've been lights out the entire season. I mean, the two games on the road, they haven't been phenomenal, but they've been great throughout the season. And now they need to do that again against New Mexico and to try to host the Mountain West Championship game. Now, the other thing, too, was we talked about this briefly, but Chris Johnson had a heck of a game again. Chris Johnson is going to be a high draft pick in the National Football League. Here's what Sean Lewis had to say about his corner.
Yeah, he's one of the seniors, right, that recommitted and came back to finish what he started. And, he's positioned himself and as a young man of tremendous character and has shown that all your dreams are possible, all your goals are possible from a team standpoint and individual standpoint here on the Mesa at San Diego State University. And it's going to be pretty cool when his name is called here in the future. There's a lot of great work that still is going to be done, and he'll be the first one to tell you, like, the job's not done, right? And there's still a hell of a lot more work to be done. But again, like, tremendous warrior. We're different when he's on the field. There's a presence that he brings not only to the defensive unit, but to the whole team. And there's a reason why he's numero uno, right? Like, that's a special number. And there's a reason why it's not doubled up. And he's the only one that gets to wear that, right? And that's a special right that he has earned. And, man, he lives up to it each and every single day, not just on game day.
He looked pretty good on Saturday, Frank. I mean, he makes some impressive plays. Again, going to be a high draft pick for San Diego State football. His team's got a lot of those players, and most of them play defense.
Yeah. Again, that interception that he had was absolutely incredible, but that was just an all-encompassing, very, very good defensive performance on Saturday. Again, that's how many games this year. And that was one thing that you love to see happen, but you never really think about. Like, when I looked up at the end of the game and saw undefeated at home, I was like, wow, you're right. That is, those two losses were on the road, and how little points they gave up at home. They played, 6 games at home? I think they gave up less than 10 in 4 of them. So, I mean, that defense has been so good all year long. And Johnson, you could, of course, you make the argument for Trey White, but you could say Chris Johnson also is just equally as responsible for leading that defense as Trey White.
Yeah, and unfortunately, they lost Tana Latuli for the year with an injury, but that's another guy and two of those three guys are local products.
Mm-hmm.
And I love what San Diego State's doing with the local flair and the local ties and taking the picture with the local kids, per team. I know women's basketball is doing that as well. You can have great careers here at San Diego State and still get to that next level that you want to get to. And I think San Diego State's embracing that. Again, playing at home has been very successful for San Diego State. That's great. It's great to be able to be lights out at home, especially for your fan base, for the kids on your team, especially the ones that live here in San Diego. And I remember when I was at TCU, the first 2 years, they were undefeated at home 2 years in a row. You forget how impressive that is. I mean, we talked about it the other day with Jen Petrie when it came to volleyball, but playing on the road, playing conference games on the road is difficult to do.
Yeah.
It's incredibly difficult to do for every conference. Talk about that with Aztec basketball. I mean, Aztec basketball is going to lose probably 2, maybe 3 road basketball games in conference. They're going to.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to do. And so they don't get as much credit having to play out here in the Mountain West Conference or in these lower level conferences, but it's hard to win on the road in college athletics. As much as these guys are getting paid and all this other stuff, they're still college kids. It's hard to do. It's hard to travel. That's an hour down. We got another hour to go. When we come back, we got a couple hours to go. We're going to preview the Radies Children's Invitational that happens Thursday and Friday this week in town. Jamie Dixon of the TCU Horned Frogs will join us next. 11 o'clock on the Braden Surprenant Show. Want to mention all guests on 97.3 The Fan. Join us on the David P. Shapiro Fan Hotline. David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys helping good people regain control of their future when charged with the crime since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. And it is my pleasure to have on my next guest. He is a TCU alumni, and he is the current head basketball coach for the TCU Horned Frogs. Spent some time as the head coach at Pitt. Did a lot of great things for Pitt. He's done a lot of great things for the TCU basketball program. He's been an NIT champion as a head coach, a CBI champion, two-time Big East regular season champion, and he's been the Naismith College Coach of the Year. His name is Jamie Dixon. He joins me on the Braden Surprenant Show. Jamie, what's going on? How you doing? How's your Monday going?
I'm doing great. Good to be a part of your show, and knowing that you're a Horned Frog as well, that's good news. That's good to hear too as well.
Yeah, I love the fact that I get to have you on, Coach, as somebody that watches you obviously almost every single night. You guys are on, a TCU football season ticket holder, a proud Horned Frog myself. You actually got hired right before I graduated. I graduated in 2017, so got to see the tail end. But it's just what you guys have done with the program has been great to watch. When I started at TCU, we were playing at Wilkerson Granis Arena while they were remodeling Schollmeyer, and you guys have done a fantastic job. But welcoming you to San Diego is going to be great. I know it's very important for you personally, being able to play at the University of San Diego. And for all of our listeners that don't know, why is it so important for you to be able to be a part of this tournament coming up, but also being able to coach at the Jenny Craig Pavilion, a place where your sister played for 4 years?
Yeah, when they started the event, first heard about it, and it was going to be at University of San Diego. That's how they explained it to me. So we were hoping to get into it, but we couldn't get into it because we had committed to another tournament. And then as it went on, then they moved it over to UC San Diego. So yes, there's a connection. Obviously, my late sister Maggie played at University of San Diego. I grew up in Los Angeles and went to Notre Dame High School. So that was an event, and it's a Fox event, and it's a premier event in the country. So we've been battling for a couple of years to be in it, and just sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and this has been the right time for us. So they've been trying to get us in it, and it's worked. And we obviously knew we were going to be playing Florida when we signed up for it, and we won this opportunity coming off their national championship, and we thought we would be. We thought we could. We thought we'd have a better record right now, but we had some injuries, had lost our starting center in the first 5 minutes of the season, and so we've had to make some adjustments. And so I feel like we're gotten better. I think our defense has improved, but our rebounding is going to be tested against this team at Florida.
Let's talk about it a little bit. I mean, obviously, you've already played some pretty good competition, too, in number 6 Michigan. You led them for nearly 28 minutes, forced 22 turnovers. To talk about that defense. But as you mentioned, the rebounding was the biggest difference in that game. What did you learn about your group from the Michigan game? And, how have you addressed maybe some of the rebounding pieces heading into this Florida game?
Yeah, rebounding was a concern all fall, all summer. I mean, we knew that was something then, and it always is. Our teams to be great have to be great rebounding teams. And then when Malik went down with the ACL injury in the first 5 minutes, we knew we had to step up more, and we'd be playing a little smaller, and so it's a combination of things. I think we missed some shots, we forced a lot of turnovers against Michigan, so the numbers are going to be favored in their way on rebounding, but we can't get out rebounded, and we have to win the battle of the boards. I mean, that's how our program have always been built at Pitt and TCU, and to be honest, we just haven't been able to get to where we need to get to on the glass, and hopefully this is the start of it. We to get out rebounded by a big number twice is now has to resonate with our players, and we've got to do something about it. So my message has been very clear, and when we lost that Michigan game, I took responsibility for it because we got out rebounded so badly, but we've known that we have to get the job done on the glass, and that includes offense and rebounding as well. Like, we want to get putbacks. We had a lot of open shots. If we're not making those open shots, we got to get putbacks, rebounds on those misses. We know they're going up, and we know they're the right shot. Then we got to be there on the glass on the miss if they're not going down.
We're talking with TCU head basketball coach Jamie Dixon on the Braden Surprenant Show. They're going to be in town Thursday and Friday as part of the Rady's Children's Invitational. Florida, Wisconsin, and Providence all part of this MTE, multi-team event. We're excited to have them in town. Let's talk a little bit more about this TCU Horned Frog team. Jamie, Brock Harding has led you an assist every game, just put up 15 points, 6 boards, and 4 assists against Michigan, plus 4 steals against Kansas City. From your vantage point, what makes him such a steadying presence at point guard this early in the season?
We were excited about him. We think he's done well. We think he's improving defensively for us, and didn't shoot it great early in some games, but his real thing is the most important thing for him is assists, getting guys assists, and taking care of the basketball. And he's done a very good job of that. I thought we had some games where we didn't shoot it well, and so the assist numbers won't be as good. But defensively, we need him to pressure the ball. We need him to keep people out of the lane, and we need him to come up with some rebounds too, because the rebounding thing is a group effort. It's a team effort, and we've got to get rebounding from our guards, and something we've really talked about, we've really discussed, and we didn't see it get done early, but now we seem to be getting it done in a better way, and Brock's a big part of that. So he's very competitive. He's smaller, but he sticks out because of his intensity and how hard he plays and decision making. So he's had some very good games for us. I still think we're seeing that his best basketball is going to be coming up here, and so we're looking forward to him getting a little bit more efficient and really a bother on the defensive end, especially out front with ball pressure.
One more on your team before we talk about playing in this loaded tournament field and some of these preseason tournaments that have now kind of evolved a little bit over the years. But you've had multiple guys step up. Jaden Pierre's been hitting threes, as well as Michael Robinson. How has the improved spacing and perimeter shooting changed what you're able to run offensively?
Yeah, no, I mean, we've obviously been a team that's pushed the ball. We've scored in transition 2 of the last 3 years. We led the country. And this year we felt we really were going to be just as good or even better because of some adjustments after made baskets, getting it out and pushing up a little bit faster, a little bit harder. And we go out our first game or two and we don't shoot the ball very well. It was a surprise to us. And I mean, very well is an understatement. We just missed numerous open shots, and that's going to happen. You just don't think it's going to happen in game 1, but that's what happened. And, we didn't handle it well, and you've got to make up for in other areas in the rebounding and putback. So we have good shooting. We saw it the other day. We saw it in our large margin of victory with a good Kansas City team that's played the Texas to a tight game, and we beat them by a good number, 35. And we made our threes, 14. We were 44% from 3. So. And LT, our best shooter, made some shots, and be honest, he hadn't made some, and he's a guy that we're counting on. So that's Soteris, and so we feel we have better shooting, and we've got to put it together though. And our offense has not been as good as I thought it would be. We've had some good moments. We've had some efficient days. We had some very good exhibitions and scrimmages where we played very, very well. But we haven't been as consistent as I thought offensively. But I felt we'd made our last game was good. We took good shots. We didn't finish around the rim as well, but we made free throws. We took care of the ball and made some threes. So efficiently good, not as good as I think we can be.
We're talking with Jamie Dixon, head coach of the TCU Horned Frogs in men's basketball. They're in town for the Radies Children's Invitational. It'll be Thursday and Friday, hosted by the University of San Diego. Florida, Wisconsin, and Providence are also in this multi-team event. Before we talk about the field, Coach, I mean, what's your philosophy on these preseason tournaments? Obviously, there's traditional tournaments. They got the Maui Invitational where you got to play a lot of games in a row. These, multi-team events seem to be a little bit more popular now. I know there's stuff that involves NIL, but from you and all the years you have coaching college basketball, what is your ideal kind of preseason tournament to get you guys ready for what is going to be a really tough Big 12 conference, but also when you're talking about March and postseason play for the Big 12, but also the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly an evolving situation with the MTEs. I mean, what it was back in the day in Pittsburgh, we wanted to play in New York. We played almost every event they had there. But as years have changed, the games, events have changed, the rules have changed, and obviously NIL has become a big part of it. And there's some coaches commenting about the different ones going forward here. So you want to play somebody good. If there's NIL as part of it, that's become obviously a factor that people look at. location to some degree. For us, California, San Diego, a large amount of our students come from that area. We like to say almost a third of our students come from California. It's pretty close to that now, and so there's a lot of things to look into. But I think mainly you want to play good competition, neutral site games where you feel you're not going to be outnumbered on the road. And these neutral site games. So this was an event we've been wanting to get to and be a part of, and we're just lucky to be there. And yeah, certainly my sister Maggie and her legacy was part of that. But this is just a great event, and Fox does a great job with it, and the opponents, you can't beat it. I don't know if there's 4 better teams in one event this year if you really look at it, and so. We have a great opportunity to make up for some earlier games and try to get a win against the national champion. So you kind of really hope you can get these opportunities. Now we got to do something about it against a very good team.
Last thing for you, Coach. I know
Yes.
you still got a lot more with non-conference play, but the Big 12 Conference, I try to convince a lot of people out here on the airwaves, the Big 12 is the best in college basketball year in and year out. What makes the Big 12 Conference so difficult year in and year out?
Yeah, I mean, it's the numbers have proven it hasn't even been close, to be honest. Now, SEC was the best last year. They had the year last year, but the previous 9, if you look at the whole of all 10 years, it's not even been close. But there's just a commitment to basketball. I mean, there's a history. The Kansases, the Iowa States, the BYU's, the Arizona. I mean, you can go down the list, and then to be honest, some teams have stepped it up, and we're one of those teams that's gotten better. Not where I want it to be. I still think we can get more done, but we've come a long way. And it's just there's a real commitment. This is a basketball league. It's what the Big 12 is. I mean, I think there's no denying it. And the best teams have stayed. The best basketball teams have stayed. And then we've gone and added great basketball teams as well. The Arizonas, the Colorados has had a good run. The Arizona States. I mean, and the BYU's, the Utahs. The history of Utah. I mean, so it's We've consistently done it, and then we've made the right acquisitions, if you can call those in this realignment world. We've brought in men's basketball powers, and history, and huge fan bases, and crowds, and expectations. So it's certainly as I like to say, I've managed to spend every year of my career in Pitt. We were in the Big East, and it was the best conference country. The ACC, when I was there, we switched over there with Louisville and Notre Dame and Syracuse, and ACC became the best, and I go to the Big 12, and this becomes the best. So I don't recommend it, but this is the Big 12, and the challenges are immense.
Coach, I've taken up plenty of your time today. I know you guys are busy. Got to get out here to San Diego. We really appreciate it. I'll be out there on Friday. I'll come say hi and come support. We got a lot of Horned Frogs out there in Southern California. Looking forward to seeing you guys out here.
We see you there. We leave practice tomorrow. Leave tomorrow after practice.
Appreciate the time, Coach. Look forward to seeing you in San Diego. Thanks again.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Jamie Dixon joining us on the Braden Surprenant Show, TCU Horned Frogs head basketball coach. They got a big game against Florida on Thursday here in town at the University of San Diego. And then how the tournament plays out, they'll either be playing Providence or Wisconsin. Should be a fun multi-team event here in town. Always great having those coaches on. Good job, Frank, getting that done. It was cool to be able to talk to Coach Jamie Dixon as well, which was awesome. So, TCU has gotten a lot better in basketball, but before he showed up, we were playing at a high school gym for 2 years while they were redoing the arena. I mean, driving to a high school gym off campus to try to get kids to go to games was just insane. I mean, I used to do it with my roommates, and we'd be like one of 8 students there. And now they have a brand new arena, and they're starting to turn in a little bit of the basketball. They got to compete in a tough conference. So Arizona is going to be the number one. And if they're not already the number one team in the country right now, they're going to be. And it's a fun basketball conference. And you get to see some really good opponents here, or really good teams here in this Rady's Children's Invitational that San Diego State might have to run into in the NCAA tournament. It's going to be cool. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. When we come back, Padres made some roster moves on Friday. What do they mean, and what do we think they mean? We'll explain when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego State Sports Station 97.3 The Fan. Big thanks to TCU Basketball and Jamie Dixon for joining us. Get a little bit of a preview of the Radius Children's Invitational. It's going to happen Thursday and Friday of this week. Should be a fun time. Again, if you haven't gotten tickets already, I don't know how much you have left to try to get some tickets. And I do have to say, when Mark Neville joined us, it sounded like getting tickets to this game will give you an opportunity to buy tickets for next year's event as well, which will have some pretty good teams next year also. Will be hosted by the University of San Diego, as mentioned before, and the field, again, will be this Thursday and Friday, as we will have the Wisconsin Badgers, the Florida Gators, the TCU Horned Frogs, and the Providence Friars all in the multi-team event. Let's try to get the schedule out for you here in a second, but always great to see. Again, so coming up on Thursday, on Thanksgiving Thursday at noon, Florida's taking on TCU on Fox Sports 1. At 2:30, it will be Wisconsin versus Providence. On Friday will be the third place game at noon on Fox, and the championship game will be at 2:30 on Fox. So the winner of Florida and TCU will take on the winner of Wisconsin and Providence. The two teams that lose will play each other in the third place game at 12 o'clock. Good competition here in town. Good college basketball here in town. Let's talk about some Padres baseball, Frank, as we lock into this. And then we usually do it at 11 o'clock, but we're going to do it at 11:30 today because we had Jamie Dixon, the news and notes around Major League Baseball when it comes to rumors of free agency and trades. We had a big trade go down with Frank's Mets. Mm-hmm. Brandon Nimmo, now a member of the Texas Rangers. That was a potential throw out there for us on the show last week about, well, the Mets are interested in trading Brandon Nimmo. Maybe you swap contracts. That's exactly what the Mets did with the Texas Rangers, as Marcus Semien is now a member of the New York Mets. We'll talk about that later at 11:30. But let's talk about the details of what happened on Friday. There were a lot of roster moves that needed to be made. There was tendering of contracts that needed to be made. And what did the Padres do in our tenured contracts to arbitration-eligible players and non-tenured contracts, Frank?
So, again, as you mentioned, a lot of moves were made on Friday. The biggest one is that Luis Campusano is back. Campy will return for the 2026 season. Played only 10 games last year, and none as a catcher, but was one of the best hitters in AAA, slashing .336 with a 1.036 OPS for El Paso. Despite entering his seventh MLB season, he only has 592 career plate appearances. His defensive work behind the plate has been below average. And with Elias Diaz gone, Padres needed a backup catcher behind Freddie Fermin, as we expected. Campusano will be the guy.
It's expected. I couldn't imagine him getting non-tenured, right?
No.
Now, with Luis Campusano back, I think it makes a lot of sense for him to be the backup catcher. I think you need a placeholder until you get Ethan Salas. This is what happened with Campusano last year. He played 10 games, not as a catcher, but was one of the best hitters in AAA, hitting .336, 1036 OPS in El Paso. Padres need to find a way to get that kind of production at the major league level because Campusano has shown that he is a dominant AAA player. They need to try to get him maybe some more reps. I don't know what it is, but at least your catching situation has been solidified. And to have Luis Campusano as a backup catcher, I think is fine. I think that's fine. It'd be nice to get a little slug. I mean, 0 for 22 sucks, but 0 for 22 also is a small sample size.
Yeah.
And he's playing right now in the Dominican Winter League, if I'm not mistaken. And, maybe him playing year-round is going to help him out a little bit more. I like seeing him be an opportunity to be that backup player. Now, let's get to the 6 arbitration-eligible players tenured, as we mentioned before. None of these are a big surprise.
No, not at all. And I believe that these guys will all get arbitration deals done in rather short order. So Jason Adam, Mason Miller, Adrian Morejon, JP Sears, Freddie Fermin, and Gavin Sheets are all under arbitration, are all waiting their contract. Again, remember, AJ Preller, general manager, 12 years here. He has not been to arbitration yet. The last Padre to go to an arbitration hearing was Andrew Kashner, and that was back in 2013. So 2 years before AJ Preller got here.
Yeah, I don't think they're ever going to get to that point. So they'll start handing out all these contracts before. I think it'd be very rare for them to get to arbitration. I mean, Michael King was a little close last year, but then they worked out a deal, which I'm not surprised by that. So we'll see what those arbitration numbers are. As those deals get signed, it will help solidify what the Padres budget is a little bit more. Obviously, they have a lot more information than we will know, but I think a lot of the moves that that happened on Friday were very, very expected. Now, Padres do cut ties with 2 players that were not yet arbitration eligible. These players were eligible for the tenure, non-tenure contracts, and so they decide to not tenure a contract to Omar Cruz, not tenure a contract to Sean Reynolds. They're both now free agents, which means the moves will reduce roster congestion and preserve some payroll flexibility. Any shock there with Omar Cruz and Sean Reynolds?
I wouldn't say shock. I was a little surprised that Sean Reynolds didn't get tendered. I mean, I'm not sure how much he would have made had they tendered his contract, but I would have thought with how solid Reynolds was for a good portion of last year and the tiny bit that we saw the year before that in 2024, I would have thought that they would have been keen on keeping Sean Reynolds around.
I feel like with arms, you want to try to get as many arms as possible, right? I mean,
Right.
So they obviously like guys. The other thing too is they do have to create roster spots for potential Rule 5 draft picks.
Yes.
Guys that are eligible to get plucked from other teams. And so maybe that is some wiggle room for them, or it helps with how they build out the roster for the 40-man. How many players do they have on the 40-man right now? What is it, like? What was it, 37?
I think it was 37.
No, there it is. San Diego's 40-man roster now stands at 34 players.
Oh, 34. Okay.
So you got 6 players to work with, relatively.
Yeah.
I don't think any of that stuff was that surprising on Friday.
No, like I said, I wasn't stunned seeing them. My ears perked up when I saw that Sean Reynolds wasn't tendered, but I wasn't surprised. No.
Not surprised. So that's the latest roster move that we got with the San Diego Padres. When we come back, what's going on in Major League Baseball? We're going to quickly talk about it, then get to our sports thread as we continue in the 11 o'clock hour on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97 through the Fan. 11:34 on a Monday, Thanksgiving week. Sure, a lot of you guys got a lot going on with family, making airport runs, everything like that. You got all the fixings and stuff. I still got to go to the store. I make the mac and cheese for the family for Thanksgiving. That's the thing. So I got to go to the store at some point today and get my supplies. It's a pretty good mac and cheese, Frank. I did have mac and cheese this weekend at Disneyland.
Okay.
So we pulled the trigger on a couple places on just because it was a low line. So first thing we ate at Disneyland was the beignets at the in New Orleans Square.
Okay.
It's usually where I get mint juleps.
Yeah.
I was hurting Saturday morning from the night before. So I needed a coffee, and the Starbucks at the place with the line for the Starbucks was longer than a line for Space Mountain. It was crazy. Not surprised at 8 something in the morning. Oh, I didn't even say the best part. So Friday, I roll in on Friday after practice.
Mm-hmm.
So we had 3-day hopper passes we had to get rid of that I had from months ago, and they have to be used before December 9th or 19th or something, whatever like that.
For the end of the year.
And so instead of just going for one day all day, we decided to go like, oh, we'll just go 1, 2, and 3. Okay, we'll go Friday for a little bit, Saturday for a little bit, Sunday for a little bit. So Friday we check into the hotel, we roll into Disneyland around 7:30, 8 o'clock. Just kind of do a walk around.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to wait in line. It was packed on Friday night. I didn't really want to wait in line for anything. So we did that. It's a hopper. So then we cruised over to California Adventure. We cruised over to California Adventure. And to me, like if you're in a older crowd, California Adventure is better for you. They serve alcohol at California Adventure.
Mm-hmm.
So we were like, all right, well, it's time for a beverage. It's like 8:30 or something like that. We just walked around all of Disneyland. Let's go over to California Adventure and get something. I went to the Avengers campus, whatever the heck that's called. And I remember that they had a bar there. So I get a Carl Strauss beer. They had a Carl Strauss Mexican lager there. I forgot what she got. She got some other beer of some kind. So then we walk around. We go to Cars Land. They got all the Christmas stuff out. Lightning McQueen's strolling around. And so bathroom break time. Go to the bathroom. I'm waiting outside. This dad is pushing a double wide stroller.
Mm-hmm.
He's got 2 kids in the stroller. He's got one on his shoulders. Wife is walking with him, and he notices my cup in the beer. And he goes, bro, where did you get that? Did you get that here? And I was like, and meanwhile, I don't have to deal with kids. I'm just like, just having a great time.
Right over there,
I was
bro.
like, I did over there on the Avengers campus. And he was like, I'm going to need one of those. You're a lifesaver. You're a lifesaver. He
Hun, I'll be back.
leaves the stroller and takes off for the Avengers campus to get a beer. That poor guy's probably been at Disneyland since 8 in the morning, had no idea California Adventure. He could have been drinking throughout the day. The guy needed a beer so fast. And he went over to his beeline straight to that place. They could have got one anywhere. They had cocktails everywhere. They have little specific ones. So he had that on. That was the funniest thing I've ever heard. Did you get that here?
Well, I want
The guy looked so tired. He looked so tired. And I was like, yeah, I did. Sprinted to the Avengers campus to get himself a cocktail. You know what? That guy earned it. That guy earned the beer that day.
Absolutely.
That guy was putting in minutes. Okay. He played almost the full 60. He probably played 38 minutes of the 40 minutes that he needed.
No shift changes.
No shift changes, none of that stuff. That was Friday. So Saturday morning, the coffee line was too long. We went to the mint julep bar at Disneyland that doesn't have, they don't have alcohol in their deals. Mm-hmm. And they had the beignets. The problem with the mint julep bar is they put the beignets there now. Mm-hmm. And now everybody that sees social media needs the beignet. So the line for that was still long. I got a coffee and a couple of beignets. Those hit big time when I needed it to. And then the other food I had, like 2 other things. On Saturday, we pulled the trigger at the Cozy Cone. They had like a bunch of different foods there. Mm-hmm. They had a chili con carne.
Okay.
Or chili con queso. They had chili in a bread cone. It was like a pretzel cone, but without like salt on the cone, and a bacon mac and cheese The bacon mac and cheese and the bread cone was phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm sure that
was great.
Yeah, that sounds.
I
like
was ready for a
pretty good.
nap at the end of the deal. I didn't have to go to the wedding. That was the best part. So she went to the wedding. I took a nap. It's even better. So that was Saturday. And then yesterday they had this like Star Wars thing. I forgot what it was called. It was, they had some type of meat of some kind some Star Wars meat that they said a pork sausage. It was a pork sausage. It was like a pita wrap with eggs, the pork sausage, some type of cheese, and like a sauce. Delicious. With some Star Wars name, iced tea, Arnold Palmer, basically. The food and the cuisine there was great. Oh, there you go. Is that what you got today?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Anytime I bring this, I've got a homemade Arnold Palmer with me.
Phenomenal.
Get the homemade Country Time lemonade, homemade Lipton iced tea, the two mixes, and then you try your best to 50-50 it. And I've got that all day long.
There's just too much sugar at Disneyland, dude. There's just too much sugar everywhere. I this morning at workout, I was dying. Because of all the sugar. And I didn't even consume that much. And then Saturday, I had myself an evening. She was at the wedding. I didn't have to go. So what I did was I walked to, and there was only so many places I go to. I was going to go to the bar in the hotel. The problem was a cheer competition broke out at the hotel. It was at the Anaheim Convention Center. So it is just screaming cheerleaders.
You should have went to the Honda Center.
I didn't want to drive. Heck of a game.
You did. You saw
Heck
one
of a
heck
game.
of a game. I texted you after 5 minutes, not even 5 minutes, 4.5 minutes.
When the Knights took a 2-0 lead?
4.5 minutes into the game, Knights take a 2-0 lead. I texted you because you had talked about it. You said, maybe I'll go.
About it.
I said, did you go to the game? No. Well,
good thing you didn't.
Yeah.
And then as soon as Frank sent that text, he said, hold on, I've spoke too soon. Tied it up 2-2.
You should have wasted your money.
Knights went up 3-2. Ducks scored late to tie it 3-3. They go to overtime. What a finish that was.
Yeah, it was a great game. A really good game.
Ducks are young and fire pucks at the net, and they're exciting to watch.
I had myself a night on Saturday as well, sitting at Snapdragon Stadium watching San Diego State. I finally signed up for Victory Plus, so I had that going on my phone.
That is free, by the way.
I know. Yes, it is. It's one of those things you think about it, you can't do it, and then by the time you remember it again, it's like, oh yeah, I meant to do that.
Oh yeah, I can watch these guys for free right now.
And then on my computer, besides working on today's show, I had the F1 race from Las Vegas on. So I was watching 3 different things while at one of them.
I was locked into a lot of different things. So Saturday, what I did was I plugged an HDMI into my TV from the laptop in the hotel. Because I got to kill like 4 or 5 hours before I have to pick her up from the wedding at the Grand Californian, which I heard was cool. So there's only like 75 people at this wedding. It's at the Grand Californian, and so I guess you had a choice. You could have choice to have the characters show up to your wedding. There are mascots I'd be in, but the characters, I don't know about that. Or go watch World of Color. So they got like a private showing of World of Color.
Nice.
At the California Adventure or whatever. So they were doing that. I set up my HDMI. I had film on my laptop on the TV. I needed food. Was going to go to the bar at the thing. It was filled with cheerleader parents. Hammered at the hotel bar on a Saturday night. You know what? Fair. They got to deal with a lot of screaming kids. Go ahead.
Just pass on that.
So then I'm like, I gotta go take a walk through Anaheim. So I walked to like the Anaheim Mall Garden, whatever. I don't know what that thing's called, but they have a Cheesecake Factory. I locked into Cheesecake Factory. So I get there. It's just me. It's a party of one. The wait time is ridiculous. So I order on my phone to get it to go. I go into the bar. I get myself an old fashioned at the bar. I wait for my food. And I got a nice little appetizer, got a pasta dish. Forgot how big the portions were at Cheesecake Factory, but I was going to have a night. And then I got myself a cheesecake, and I got her a slice of cheesecake. Walked back, ate my dinner right there, had some Buffalo Trace and ginger. And then I was like, all right, time to lock back into what's going on TV. I put the game on Victory Plus for hockey, pass out. within like 35 seconds. It's a lot of carbs I have consumed on that day. So I pass out. I had to set an alarm to wake up to make sure I go pick up my friend from the wedding in time, which was down the street, but she wasn't going to walk in heels. I mean, that's kind of ridiculous. So passed out watching the Ducks play, and then was able to wake up at like 9. I was refreshed, ready to go. Yeah, exactly. This is 30 right here. This is 30. That's how a 30-year-old man has a Saturday night solo dinner, picking up Cheesecake Factory, sitting in a hotel, got the laptop hooked up to the TV, watching the Ducks, breaking down some extra film for high school football. That was it.
DoorDash and a nap.
Except I walked to go get it. Okay, so I had over 20,000 steps 3 days in a row. So there you go. I know you can drink at the Blue Bayou. I didn't want to make a res there. I didn't want to wait for it. I know you could get a drink at the cantina too. They're very sugary drinks. So anyway, all right, it's time to get to the sports thread, Frank.
You know that group chat, the one that's always blowing up with the biggest sports takes, debates, and breaking news?
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me?
Yeah, we've got that too. Welcome to the Sports Thread, where we break down the top 5 stories in sports, just like you would with your crew.
Oh, no! Disaster! What a bad idea!
No filters, no silence, just real talk. Brought to you by QC Kinetics. Stop sitting on the sidelines. QC Kinetics gets you back in the game without surgery. To learn how, visit QCkinetics.com.
Speaking of disasters with a terrible idea, did you see that UCLA try to do the fake field goal?
Oh, yes.
Oh, my God. That was
did.
bad. That was so bad.
Oh, boy.
They're back, baby. I got a text from Mike talking about Penn State's being back. Penn State might be back, and I responded with UCLA might be back too.
We're so back, baby.
We're back.
2 wins in a row. We back.
Bowl eligibility on the line on Saturday.
We
lock in a Fat Man Friday this Friday.
We back.
Number 1.
A violent incident involving UAB football players occurred Saturday morning when a teammate allegedly stabbed 2 players at the team's facility. The 2 injured players are in stable condition and several teammates sat out of the game. Though UAB chose to honor its seniors, offensive lineman Daniel Mincy was later arrested and charged with aggravated assault and attempted murder, though the university has not confirmed his involvement. The incident remains unclear. The incident remains under investigation, and counseling has been offered to the team. What responsibilities do universities have to support student athletes' mental health and safety after traumatic events within their own team?
Well, definitely a very large amount of that.
I'm asking
a crazy story.
I'm asking that with, like, you were a part of TCU athletics.
Oh, we had tons of that.
What do they offer for in a
they have
situation
a ton
like
of
that?
resources that you can deal with or that you can use all the time. So I don't remember anything for us that was so tragic or something crazy like that, but I do know that most of anything that had happened at school that involved certain things, even just for students, not just the student athletes, there was a list of, like, for anybody that needs help with this, you can go to our group of, whatever, all here, and here. So they do have a lot of resources for that. That was the craziest story I saw on Saturday. Somebody said it to me and I was like, I'm sorry, excuse me? There was a what?
Yeah.
Within the football team? They played, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
They still played after the fact.
Yes.
That's even wilder that they played the game after that. I'm surprised the game wasn't canceled after
I just couldn't, like, what is, I want to know the circumstances behind it. Like, how did something, I mean, we've seen it so many times in the NFL. You get training camp fights, especially when you have joint training camps with a different team. How does something get that wild and out of control that you just start going and stabbing teammates? Especially as apparently if Daniel Mincy is the guy who was the one who did it as a senior on the day of your last home game.
Crazy.
How does it get
I
to that
I
point?
can't even fathom. Like, you're going to get more information out on this. There's going to be more information that starts to come about. That was a wild story on Saturday.
I hope so. I hope as much information, because I want to know how this got to that point.
Number 2.
The NCAA has reversed a recent ruling and will continue banning all athletes and athletic department staff from betting on professional sports. The decision comes after several high-profile gambling scandals, including NBA figures being arrested and multiple NCAA players losing eligibility for betting on games, even against their own teams. With sports betting cases on the rise and concerns about the game's integrity growing, more than 2/3 of Division I schools voted to rescind the proposal, keeping the gambling ban in place across Divisions 1, 2, and 3. Do you think the NCAA's strict ban on betting, even on pro sports, is necessary to protect the integrity of the game, or does it unfairly restrict athletes compared to the general student population?
Hang on a second. We think we're restricting athletes right now?
That's
I don't know. What's your opinion on politicians being able to put money in the stock market? It's relatively the same thing, because students are not able to, people are not able to do what politicians are able to do. I mean, what it's kind of the same thing.
Brother, I put 3 questions through ChatGPT for that, and that was the most reasonable one that came up.
I'm just saying, like,
that was the most reasonable one.
It's the same stuff. I mean, if they're allowed to do XYZ, why aren't the athletes allowed to do XYZ and bet on themselves? Oh, well, that would be kind of exactly. Probably both wrong, but why is one right and one not right? No, just saying. I'm just the guy asking questions. Speaking of, do you have anything more on the sports thread today?
I do have one more thing. Yeah,
Chris Paul announces retirement.
Yes.
Number 3.
LA Clippers guard Chris Paul, a 12-time All-Star and one of the greatest point guards in NBA history, will retire after completing his 21st season. The 40-year-old point guard, currently second all-time in assists and steals, has played for multiple franchises, leading to deep playoff runs, and made one finals appearance with Phoenix. In his career spanned iconic eras, major trades, and a lasting impact on young players. How will Chris Paul's legacy be defined? More by his statistical greatness and leadership, or by the fact that he never got the ring?
He'd be defined by Chris Paul hits a 3 to cut the deficit to 47. That's what I will remember him as.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, that's what I remember him as. I use that reference all the time. That is what I remember Chris Paul as. How about the Coronado? Did you guys see the Coronado stuff? Coronado football?
I saw you post something about that in passing, but I didn't read and dive into it. So let's just do the game.
Number 4.
I don't understand. So Coronado, the football team, and I got to read up on the story about this thing, but it's just I'm just asking questions here. So Coronado High School decided to part ways with their coach, Coach Hines.
Okay.
Who is a renowned, they went 6-4 this year. They made it to the playoffs. I mean, Coronado's a high school they're not actively getting, they have a very small amount of neighborhoods to pull from to play at Coronado.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been there for 9 seasons, and he is a motivational speaker. He's got tons of followers on social media. He's well renowned around the national landscape. So they blindside him and get rid of him. And then 2 days later, they hire somebody that had coached before, who has been at Coronado for 5 years as a teacher, when the contract that Coronado has says they have to post the job for at least 10 days. They fired Coach Hines and then hired the new guy within 2 days of firing Coach Hines. People want to know. They're asking questions. I'm asking questions. That doesn't make any sense.
Listen, contracts aren't binding.
Oh, yeah.
Contracts could be manipulated. They could be worked. It's okay. These things happen sometimes, man. It's business.
The high school coaching thing, to me, as long as the person leading your team is doing things the right way. And I don't know any of the background story, but as long as they're doing the right thing and they're doing the best they can with the talent that they have, and they don't have a lot of complaints from parents, and you're putting together a good season, there's like no reason to ever get rid of a high school coach. I mean, it's not like college where you're trying to drastically win championships. I mean, that might be for certain high schools out there, but you only get what like the kids that show up to your school are. Mm-hmm. Even though you can theoretically, everybody can recruit now for high school sports. It's like, it just didn't make any sense. But apparently that's the deal. But anyway, there's more information on this. I just found it to be very interesting that they fired the guy, and then 2 days later, they already had the replacement ready to go, and they hired him without going through a whole process. I'm sure there's more information on that. I'd love to know the more information on that. Get to the noon hour and talk about what's going on in baseball when we come back.
San Diego, it's time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the Gaslamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime years.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
New lunchtime hour on San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. You can't count on much, but you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Stream your local NFL game live every Sunday all season long, starting at just $30 for your first year. That's like $250 a month. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today. We're going to talk about the NFL in just a little bit, but we do want to get you updated on everything going on in Major League Baseball. We had a trade happen over the weekend. We got some other rumors out there. And what does one player that got posted in the MPB from the MPB want to do when he comes to the pros and the big leagues here? Or sorry, not the pros, but the big leagues here in the United States. That's also some very pertinent information. Let's get to today's look at the hot stove, Frank.
We got a decent amount of stuff, and we'll start with the trade before we go to Tatsuya Imai, and that would be that the New York Metropolitans and the Texas Rangers have made a trade that will send Brandon Nimmo to the Rangers and Marcus Semien to the Mets. Nimmo has reportedly agreed to waive his no trade clause. Semien, despite a down offensive year in 2025, remains an elite defender and fits the Mets' goal of improving their defense. Nimmo is coming off of a career best offensive year and would be a boost to the Rangers' lineup struggles from last year. So a straight 1-for-1 trade. Brandon Nimmo going to Texas and Marcus Semien coming back.
That seems like a good trade for both teams. I mean, you're swapping contracts, right? The Rangers needed to get rid of Marcus Semien's contract. He still has a lot of production, obviously, as a middle infielder. I mean, is he going to start at second base for the Mets?
Yes.
Okay, so that solves a problem for the New York Mets.
But
I mean, it's going to cost a little bit of money.
But it creates problems, though.
It does create problems.
Because where now you've waited for years on Ronnie Mauricio, who's a middle infielder. Where's he going to play? Where's Luis Angel Acuna going to play? Where is Jet Williams, who is your number one prospect as a shortstop? Where is Jet Williams going to play? Where are these guys that you have been piling up? Where are these guys going to play? The only thing that I can think of for this trade is you've opened up money for Pete Alonso.
That's possible.
That's the only thing that I can think of. I don't mind the trade. Losing Nimmo while he was drafted by the Mets, came up through the Mets systems, been a Met for life. It doesn't hurt me to lose him. It sucks, but it doesn't hurt. I don't understand the vision, because now you only have one outfielder, and that is Juan Soto. That's it. That is your outfield right now. Your outfield is Juan Soto and Tyron Taylor. That's it.
Marcus Semien's $24 million towards the cap, too. Towards the luxury tax.
And the Mets are also paying $5 million to Texas in this deal as well.
For Nimmo?
Yes.
So they're going to pay $5 million in Nimmo, and then they're going to pay all of Marcus Semien's contract.
Yeah. It's less money over less years.
Oh, they just don't have to. Well, they don't have to pay the extra years, right?
Right.
It's more towards the AAV, and it's more per year, but it's just less years of the contract.
Yes.
So they're going to pay Semien $26 million this year, $26 next year, and $20 in 2028. He's already 35 years old.
Yeah.
So you get him for the age 35 season, 36, and 37 season for the New York Mets. I think it's a good move for the Texas Rangers.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
You free up a lot of money. And the Texas Rangers are a team that can spend money. So they get an outfielder now that's younger. He's controllable for a long period of time. They get $5 million off on his deal. So he only counts for $20 million on the AAV. They're going to pay him $20.5 every year until 2030. They wanted to free up that big money. They wanted to get rid of Mark. Simeon has been hurt a lot for the Texas Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
So they get out of that contract. They inherit this 5-year, what's left of Brandon Nimmo's contract, and then they get the extra money from the New York Mets. Is that what it was? Brandon Nimmo's signing bonus they have to pay.
Yeah.
The Mets are only giving him $5 million for this year. So
yes.
I take $5 million off the top, and that's the trade. I don't mind it. We were talking about flipping contracts.
Yeah, on Friday.
For a guy like, was it Nimmo? I think it was somebody else.
It was Nimmo. Jeff McNeil.
Jeff McNeil, I think, was the flip for us because Nimmo was too expensive. And I thought it was going to be shocking if the Mets traded Nimmo because who was going to take the contract? Well, if you got Marcus Simeon, you get rid of that money. Yeah, flipped it.
There you go.
So we'll see what they try to do. I don't. That's a good question by Go Aztecs. Do you think the Rangers try to flip Seager now? Seager's 31. He's going to be 32 next year at the end of next season, and you're paying him $31.5 million every year until 2032 when he becomes a free agent. He's got 6 years left of that deal. He's been pretty good for the Rangers, though. He's won a World Series.
I can't see them selling off Seager for like a rebuild when you just took on more money for a longer amount of time with Brandon Nimmo. I just don't see them like tearing that team down. That's my issue. Bless you.
They save money towards the luxury tax, though, because they get $4 million off in comparison. They don't mind spreading it out over 5 years. And then the Corey Seager thing, it's 32.5 off the books if you can make a trade. I just don't know if that's something they would do. I mean, are the Rangers fans going to like that? Probably not. Not after
It's the same thing. You're going to have to find a partner.
They're upset that Heim didn't get a contract.
Yeah.
Rangers fans. And speaking of, we're going to get to that in just a little bit. But what else is going on the market?
So here's the fun thing about Tetsuya Imai. We've talked about it. We haven't heard too much from him as far as what he wants, what he's looking for in coming over to the major leagues. Well, that has changed. Tetsuya Imai, of course, was asked about wanting to play for a team like the Dodgers. If it sounds like I'm stuttering, this was translated directly from Japanese, so it might not be written as in English.
But the term says lost in translation.
Yes. He goes, I want to take them down. Speaking of playing together with guys like Otani, Yamamoto, Sasaki, and others. Of course, it sounds fun, but I think beating a team like that and becoming world champions would be the most valuable thing in my life. He also mentioned this on a Japanese talk show. He said wanting to play on a team with Japanese players, whether or not he would want to do that. He said, if there were Japanese people, they'd just tell you anything if you asked, right? I don't really want that. In a way, I want to experience that survival vibe, and when facing cultural differences, make how I overcome them on my own one of the fun parts. So it sounds like he, does not want to play on a super team. He does not want to play for a team like the Dodgers. He also does not want to play on a team that currently has any Japanese players on it to influence. And so it sounds like he wants that challenge of the cultural hurdle.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure, and I agree with Go Ask. Didn't Roki Sasaki say the same thing?
He didn't say anything.
He said a lot of similar things.
He didn't say anything about not wanting to play with Japanese players, though.
I've heard that before out of a lot of conversations of Japanese players coming over. They don't want to play with other Japanese players sometimes. They want to be their own guy. And so people are like, oh, Padres have Yu Darvish. I can be able to, get XYZ. My thing is with this, I find this entire thing to be eyewash because until the guy signs, it doesn't really matter. He can say whatever he wants. Like, remember when Vlad Guerrero Jr. said, like, I never want to be a Yankee? I mean, if he went to the open market and the Yankees gave him the most money, do you think he'd still say, I'm not going to be a Yankee?
No.
No. Money talks.
No, I mean, I don't think he'd be a Yankee. Ken Griffey Jr. said the same thing.
I know, but Ken Griffey Jr. is at a point where he could afford to do that. I don't know. Like, Vlad Guerrero said it, and then he retraced his steps right before he went to free agency, and then he ended up he ended up re-signing with the Blue Jays. I'm just saying, these guys say a lot of stuff, and then the contract comes in, and then they backtrack all of these things until he signs with like somebody that's doesn't have Japanese players, and it's not the Dodgers. I think it'd be hard to find. I think it's gonna be hard to believe this guy. To be honest with you,
I mean, if you could say possibly San Francisco,
yeah, maybe he wants to go be a Giant.
Seattle doesn't have any Japanese players on it as far as I can remember. If he wants to stay on the West Coast, if he wants to stay close to Japan, I think San Francisco and Seattle will probably be the only two landing spots like that. Arizona, possibly. I mean, I know this is all in the division, but
I agree with Clay in the South Bay. Believe it when the ink is dry in the contract. To me, it's just talk.
Yeah, well,
I think it's to try to get teams that don't have Japanese players and teams that aren't the Dodgers to compete for his services.
Yeah.
That's how I translate that to.
Two more Japanese stars, infielder Kazuma Okamoto and pitcher Kona Takahashi, have also posted for MLB free agency, joining previously posted MLB NPB standouts Munetaka Murakami and the aforementioned Tetsuya Imai. This adds to an already notable group of Japanese players available to major league teams this off season. I saw Okamoto's numbers. Those really were not that bad. I think that might be a get for the Padres here.
I think this is just showing, I think baseball's done a great job in growing the game around the world.
100%, yes.
And you're going to get a lot of great players from a lot of different parts of the world. The more that they continue to have their own leagues, the more that baseball continues to grow. And you're going to see more and more Japanese players. We've seen a lot of influx from Latin America.
Where's that Saudi league? Hold on.
Yeah. But that's the benefit of growing the game. This is why, like with the NFL, every time it gets irritating watching them play in Europe and stuff like that, they're behind on the baseball thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they're trying to grow their sport in these countries and get people to start leagues in those countries to increase their personnel and get more people to play, more athletes to play the sport. And baseball's starting to reap the benefits of that. I think this is all going back to like the world when they started the World Baseball Classic.
Yeah.
And it gives people opportunities to play in the highest league and play this game, in this great game, all over the world.
We'll do two more here. Ryan Helsley, an elite closer who hasn't started since 2019 in AAA, is drawing free agent interest as a potential starting pitcher. Multiple teams, including the Tigers, are exploring the idea. After a disappointing 2025 season and facing a deep closer market, Helsley may benefit financially and competitively from shifting to a starting rotation role, especially with high-end arms in short supply. He is not alone in considering this move, as Brad Keller and Luke Weaver are also open to returning to the rotation.
We talked about bringing in Helsley as a Padre to be a bullpen arm, can move somebody else to the starting rotation.
Yep.
Interesting. But now Helsley would probably cost a little bit more, correct? Didn't we determine that?
If he were a starter, yeah, it would boost his value financially as well.
Well, I mean, you could only sign him for what? I mean, he hasn't done it yet, so you can't give him a big
No, you can't give him 20
deal. What was his
20 a year, but I think the projection was like 8 or 9.
$8 or $9 million. It was something where it made sense for them to be
It was like a 1 year, 8 or 9, I think it was his projection.
What was his? I gotta find his WAR to try to find him on this thing. Ryan Helsley, 2 years, $21 million is what the projection is on Fangraphs. $10 million a year.
Is that as a starter or a reliever?
It
I mean,
doesn't matter.
I would pay that either way, but
That's a cheap starter, though.
yeah, it's a very
It's
cheap
a
starter.
more
Very cheap
expensive
starter.
bullpen arm, but he is a back-end bullpen guy,
Mhm.
and it's a cheaper starter. I think that's a good pick for the Padres.
I would agree. Now you don't
So now if he has the opportunity to be a starting pitcher, you can sign Ryan Helsley and you improve your bullpen. And guess what? You don't have to run out Adrian Morejon or Mason Miller to potentially be a starter. You can give Ryan Helsley a shot.
and you get Hell's Bells at the beginning of the game instead of the eighth inning.
That's going to be odd anyway. But there's going to be other players like that the Padres have to hit on, and they've done a good job in converting relievers to starters. Ryan Helsley at age 31, I could see that. Now, his WAR last year was a 0.2. Looked like he was tipping his pitches, right? That was the big claim.
Yeah, that was his...
Mets think they fixed that before he left for free agency, but a 0.8 projected WAR next year.
They noticed it. It didn't look like they fixed it, but they noticed it.
He's projected to have a 0.8 WAR next year, according to Fangraphs. I think that's worth the sign for him.
Yeah.
Again, we're putting the Padres spending at like $30 million, which is a gigantic guess because who knows how much they're going to have. But if that's the case, and you need to sign a starter or reliever and a power bat, that's 1/3 of your money there, and it almost hits two needs.
Yeah.
You either solidify the bullpen or you move him to the starter spot. I think it's a good. I think it'd be a good sign for the Padres.
I would agree with that as well.
We have time for
one last
more
one
here with a minute to go.
Lucas Giolito rebounded from an elbow surgery in 2025 with a strong season for Boston, posting a 3.41 ERA in 26 starts, making him an appealing free agent. The Diamondbacks have already held early conversations with Giolito, especially significant given that ace Zach Gallen may have just become a free agent or just became a free agent. With Gallen gone, Merrill Kelly traded, and Corbett Burns rehabbing from a Tommy John surgery of his own, Arizona's rotation is thin, increasing their need for a starter like the aforementioned Lucas Giolito.
Yeah, everybody needs starting pitching.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Diamondbacks have pumped a lot of money in their starting pitching, have not gotten a lot of luck with injuries. I mean, last year they got decimated by injuries early in the season, really, put them behind the eight ball late in the year, and they ended up having a miserable year. Considering that they were expected to finish in front of the Padres in the standings at the beginning of the year and be a playoff team. I mean, I thought at the beginning of the season, that was the team you had to worry about the most, and they ended up not being a team you had to worry about the most. You had to worry about the Giants a little bit more than you did the Diamondbacks until they started to turn it on again late in the season, but by that time, the damage had already been done. Be a nice sign for the Diamondbacks if they're interested in that. I bet you this is, again, the market for starting pitching. The numbers are high. And I always look back to Sean Manaea and the money he got from the New York Mets.
Learned a lot about Lucas Giolito when he was coming up because he was supposed to be the third head in that three-headed monster of Scherzer, Strasburg, and then Giolito coming up. So he never met his full potential, but it would be he's turned into a solid pitcher, solid middle of the rotation pitcher.
This hour 97 to the Fan is brought to you by Mission Fed. From first accounts to big life moments, Mission Fed can help. Saving shouldn't be stressful. Mission Fed makes it easier with great rates on savings, certificates, and ultra money market accounts. Grow your money the smart way. Check the latest rates and open an account at missionfed.com. Membership and account criteria apply. When we come back, there's a couple of names that have been non-tenured contracts that are joining the free agency class, and a couple of them are from the Texas Rangers and some that were projected to be trade candidates at the deadline. We'll talk about who might be available, maybe for the Padres or others, when we come back that were unexpected here on the Braden Surprenant Show. Settings on Sports Station 97 through the Fan. 12:24 on a Monday. Got a lot of college basketball to break down today. We got a big sports day in San Diego. We got San Diego FC playing tonight, and we got San Diego State basketball playing tonight. San Diego FC's got a playoff game. We're going to break that down on the 1 o'clock hour with Drake Hills and talk a little bit about the game at 1:15. And then Aztecs got a game against Michigan tonight at 7:30. That game will be on True TV tonight. That's game one of their first two in the Players Era championships being played in Vegas. Tennessee and Rutgers was earlier today. The Tennessee Volunteers the Rutgers Scarlet Knights able to knock down Tennessee in that game, 85-60. So that's a little bit of an upset to get things started in the Players Era Festival. As we look at some of the scores, we got games on right now. So Tennessee won 85-60. That's what I thought. The ESPN app is backwards on my phone.
Love it.
Yeah, that's great. So we look at the top. We look at some of the teams here in the Player Era Festival. So Tennessee won the first game, 85-60. Game two is currently on TNT. It's Baylor and it's Creighton. And Baylor's got a 53-52 lead on Creighton in the second half. Next game coming up is Kansas and Notre Dame back on TNT. That game will start at 12:30. And then Iowa State and St. John's will play back on True TV. Houston and Syracuse will play at 3 o'clock. Auburn and Oregon will play at 5 o'clock, as Oregon is one of the teams that San Diego State will play in this tournament. Gonzaga will play Alabama at 6:30. Aztecs and Michigan at 7:30. UNLV and Maryland will play at 9 p.m. tonight. That's a midnight tip-off on the East Coast. So all the Maryland fans will be tuned in at midnight for a tip-off in this Players Era Festival. That's all today. Again, tomorrow, Aztecs will be in action. Another late one, as they will play closer to 8 o'clock Pacific time against Oregon. Tomorrow's matchups are Rutgers and Notre Dame, Creighton and Iowa State, Kansas and Syracuse, Baylor and St. John's, Houston and Tennessee, Auburn and Michigan, Gonzaga and Maryland, San Diego State and Oregon, and UNLV and Alabama will have the nightcap. Should be a fun couple of days of college basketball. Then on Wednesday, you're going to have a bunch of different games being played out with the men's, consolation games, men's championship game, third place game. And that's all going to be seeded based on how the first two rounds go. So San Diego State, like they said last year, they were able to put together 2 wins and then play Houston. And they had a great time in the Players Era Festival. They're making money as they play, so we'll keep you updated on everything that's going on in the Players Era Festival as we get ready for a game tonight. San Diego State and Michigan. We'll talk about that in the 1 o'clock hour as well. Let's get to some of this stuff in the and 3 players in particular, Frank, that have been released, or should I say non-tendered contracts that now become free agents. 2 of them are Texas Rangers, but a lot of interesting names that were on the non-tender deadline list that now join free agency.
Yeah, so we have from the Texas Rangers, you'd mentioned 2 of them. We'll start off with their catcher. You'd mentioned him earlier, Jonah Heim. Ranger fans not happy that he was not tendered. So he is a free agent now. Jonah Heim is going into his age 30 season, projected contract about $6 million. But right now he has to be the leading candidate for catcher in what is a thin catcher market.
Yeah, I think the Jonah Heim thing is very interesting. I mean, as of right now, Luis Camposano is the backup catcher for the San Diego Padres. I thought Jonah Heim would be a good upgrade to the Padres last year before they ended up trading for Freddie Fermin. Instead, Jonah Heim becomes a valuable asset, I think, to a lot of teams at $6 million projected at age 30. And the fact that the Padres actually have the catching position solidified, I don't think they have the resources right now to be investing in a catching spot, but that's an intriguing player on the open market now. I think a lot of people are interested in this other one, though, the right fielder that the Padres could potentially turn into a DH. I just don't know how much money he would get.
Before that bad news, I did not get picked for the banana ball ticket draw.
Oh, that's sad.
Darn it. Anyway, right fielder, Adolis Garcia, as you move it. Thank you. Right fielder Adolis Garcia is going into his age 33 season, projected contract of $12.1 million. He was also not tendered by the Texas Rangers. Hit just 227 last year, had 19 home runs and 13 stolen bases across 547 plate appearances. That would fix the power issue, but there's not really too many places you could play Adolis Garcia right now.
He'd have to be the DH only.
And
essentially,
who's your first baseman? I guess you're moving Gavin Sheets.
You could have
to
Gavin
first
Sheets
base.
play first base.
Well,
that's a possibility of what you could do. Now, the problem is with Adolis Garcia is you are taking a risk because he is continuing to decline with his offensive production. I don't know if it's been being on bad teams, but he had that big year in 2021 and a huge season in 2023. Won a Gold Glove, got an All-Star nod while helping Texas win the World Series, as you mentioned before. But declining performance and a lot of swing and miss issues could be a problem. And so is that worth the $12.1 million? Potentially. I think he could be a DH for you at age 33 at about $10 to $12 million. I think that's a good I think that'd be a good upgrade with the power. And I would have him be a DH. But maybe he can play a little bit of the outfield. Maybe give you your fourth outfielder as well as a DH. It gives you a little bit of versatility. But I wouldn't mind it. I just, you're taking the risk, though, that you're hoping that he doesn't go 3 years in a row of declining production. The only way I would sign Adolis Garcia if I'm the Padres, one, he's a DH, and two, it's a 1-year deal with incentives. And maybe you give yourself a club option for the next year.
I mean, with a 227 average on the full season, that ain't great.
It's not great.
He had a bad year overall, but
it's not great. But if he has power numbers, you take it. But if he doesn't have the power numbers and he's hitting 227,
19 homers,
that's not. No, it's not. He's got to be hitting like 25 homers to hit 227. If he gets that up to like 240 something and gets you 20 home runs, 25 home runs, you'll take the power surge, right? I mean, that's what he's there for. But he needs to be a lot better.
He does. The last one is a right-handed pitcher, name you guys will know very well. Evan Phillips, his age 31 season. He was non-tendered by the Dodgers, projected $6.1 million contract. He does have quite an injury history. He had Tommy John surgery back in June and has also dealt with rotator cuff and forearm injuries over the last couple of years. I wouldn't touch that.
No, not with injuries. There's a lot of, I know you need a lot of arms, but the Padres have other options in that particular case. So I'm interested in Adolis Garcia for the right price. I think that adds a little bit to this market. The fact that he's around $10 to $12 million, I think is a good spot. I mean, give yourself that $30 million range. Ryan Helsley, Adolis Garcia. I mean, these are the players that I think the Padres should sign. These veteran players that still have some left, but not on their tail end, like at the very end, like the last couple of years that the Padres have signed these guys to $1 million contracts. These are the type of players that you would like to see the Padres sign during the offseason instead of having to make trades in the middle of the year. Mm-hmm. And I think these are players that help. I mean, we talked about that with Ryan O'Hearn. Now, would you rather have Ryan O'Hearn than Adolis Garcia? I'd probably rather have Ryan O'Hearn than Adolis Garcia.
Yes.
For the price out there, yeah. Ryan Helsley about $10 million. I think that adds value. And now all of a sudden you have maybe one more signing you can do in the bullpen.
Both me and Go Aztecs are in on this one as well. Christopher Morel at the right price wouldn't be a bad fit here either.
We're talking about Christian Ponce as well, coming back over from the KBO. I mean, there's some players that are available that are affordable players. And this just adds to the list now with a couple of non-tenured contracts by the Texas Rangers. It'll be interesting to see how the Texas Rangers go through their offseason. We'll keep you updated on baseball stuff as it rolls out. But when we come back, it is time to get to the NFL whip around. What happened yesterday in the National Football League? We'll talk about it when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego State Sports Station 97 through the Fan. Remember to listen in about 20 minutes for us to announce today's biggest fan for a chance to qualify for a night in our Odyssey Suite at a future Padres game with all the fan staff. Register your name at 97throughthefansd.com/biggest-fan in order to potentially have your name called. Listen at 1 o'clock for today's biggest fan. This holiday season, too many San Diegans will go hungry. Join 97 Through the Fan and support the San Diego Food Bank. Donate food directly online through our Odyssey San Diego Food Fund, where every donation helps feed local families. Go to 97throughthefansd.com/food fund and give today. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's number sports station, 97 Through the Fan. Kids are out of school this week. Thanksgiving on Thursday. We got a lot of college basketball going on this week as well. Aztecs will take on Michigan tonight. We'll talk about that more in the 1 o'clock hour. But we do want to get to the National Football League. This is what's great about college basketball, though. I was telling Frank this. So the AP Top 25 came out today on a Monday in the middle of the game. So Tennessee was playing Rutgers today in the Players Era Festival. They're the first game to play out in Vegas. Mm-hmm. Tennessee, at the beginning of the day, was ranked 20 in the country. So on the bug, they had a little 20 next to their name. Midway through the game, when the AP poll came out, it got flipped to 17 because they moved up 3 spots in the AP Top 25.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
How about that?
Tennessee won over Rutgers in game 1 of this deal. Baylor has a 66-62 lead on Creighton right now in the Players Era Festival. Notre Dame and Kansas just tipped off. Again, this is the tournament that San Diego State is currently playing in or going to play in tonight. They will play the 7th-ranked Michigan Wolverines tonight. So that will be at 7:30 for the Aztec game. We also have San Diego FC on tonight. They're in a that's now a single elimination tournament.
Yes.
For the MLS Cup, a win, and they go to the Western Conference Final against Vancouver. A loss in their season is over. They play tonight at Snapdragon Stadium at 7 o'clock. We'll talk about that with Drake Hills in the next hour as well, and Frank and I will break down that game in the 1 o'clock hour. A lot to get to, but let's get to what happened yesterday in the National Football League with our NFL Whip Around.
Off and rolling after week 12 of the NFL season. As we had mentioned before, the Pittsburgh Steelers come away with a 3-point loss. Their record now goes to 6-5 after losing to a team that is known as
The Bears. The Bears.
Final score 31-28.
They're now tied for first place. The Ravens, with the 5-game winning streak after winning again yesterday, have put themselves in first place in the AFC North. What is our famed saying on this show?
Ripe but too early.
Ripe but too early. We told you, the Baltimore Ravens are going to win that division. Pittsburgh Steelers are not very good. I, for sure, thought they were going to be able to beat the Bears. The Bears continue to just skate by the way. By the skin of their teeth. Bears haven't beaten a single team this year with a winning record. They're at 8-3. They lead the NFC North. We'll see what happens later on this week. They got the Eagles on Friday.
They have beaten a team with a winning record. So
who was it?
That would have been the Pittsburgh Steelers.
No, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Thank you very much.
That's their first win over a team with a winning record, who, by the way, is about to not have a winning record by the week's end.
Game I thought was actually going to be a little bit further, it's going to be separated a little bit more. The now 10-2 New England Patriots beating the Cincinnati Bengals, who fall to 3-8, 26-20. I thought the Pats would have handled Cincinnati a little bit better than they did.
Nate was a little afraid of that game. Trap game. Nate Taylor in the chat, the big Patriots fan. O-line is kind of devastated by injuries right now for the Patriots. Left side lost to an ankle and knee concerns. Trevion Henderson continued to take running back 1 snaps over Stevenson. Patriots become the first team to get to 10 wins. As for the Bengals, their season's now over. I mean, I know it's going to be hard to come back up through. I know Joe Burrow's expected to come back and play, but
there's no reason.
There's no reason to have him play, and unless he just really wants to play. But with your O-line in Cincinnati, you're going to get him killed again. So they should be starting to shift towards 2026. I don't see how the Bengals are going to be able to resurrect their season at 3-8 and 3.5 games back behind Pittsburgh.
You're gonna
3 games behind Pittsburgh and Baltimore. I mean, it's going to be tough to undercut. Yeah, they're going to have to run the table. I don't think they're going to be able to do it. They'll get a first-round draft pick. And you know what they'll do? As Go Aztecs said, they'll waste that on receiver instead of getting O-line help.
Oh, there you go.
And that's why they're the Bengals.
It's always nice to have a plan. The 4-7 now Minnesota Vikings losing at Lambeau Field to the 7-3-1 Green Bay Packers. Packers right now half a game out of the NFC North Division lead after a 23-6 win against the last place Vikings.
The NFC North finish is going to be fun.
Yes.
How do Vikings fans feel about J.J. McCarthy, by the way? I mean, this is technically his first season. This is his real rookie season, and he's already missed some time at the beginning part of it. I think you got to give him some time, but, I mean, the Vikings are going to be drafting high this year. Draft some O-linemen, Get him some more. I mean, Justin Jefferson's got to just be in a box right now, dealing with J.J. McCarthy. Vikings in last place at 4-7. NFC North, the Packers and Lions, I think, are the best teams in that division. But we'll see what the Bears got.
All right,
they got the Eagles on Friday. And again, we mentioned before, they've lost to the Lions and to the Vikings. They beat the Vikings once, lost to the Ravens with a winning record. They still have to play the Packers twice and the Lions one more time. You're going to really, I mean, if the Bears finished the season in first place, they would have earned it.
Don't have to be the best. You just have to be the one that refuses to lose the most.
We'll get a last place schedule.
The 8-3 now, Seattle Seahawks. This was also a very close game. Beating the Tennessee Titans, who fall to 1-10, 30-24.
You know what's interesting about that game is the Titans are still not mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, but the Giants at 2-10 are.
Yep. Well, one less game.
Yeah, I know, but still, they have one more win. Giants are the only team to be eliminated from postseason contention.
Yep.
Titans keep battling. Cam Ward's good. He needs some help. Their coaching is not good over there. We knew that was going to be the case. The Titans have made so many catastrophic mistakes with their organization. I'm not surprised they're in the position they're in. And as Eddie George said, that ownership group has set them back 10 years, and it's going to take them forever to get back to being somewhat relevant. So we'll see. Sam Darnold, clean, but he got lucky a lot on Sunday. Several dangerous throws. Seattle is quietly 8-3, by the way, and hanging with the top of the NFC West. As for the Titans, Cam Ward is showing a lot of progress, something to build around in Nashville. And rookie returner Shamir Dyke, 90-yard punt return for a touchdown on the weekend. That's fun.
Yeah, not too bad. Speaking of fun, that was the Giants-Lions game to watch. Lions, once again, due to the Giants, what seems like half the league has done to the Giants here recently, which is beat them when they had absolutely no right doing so, with a big run in overtime to get the win over the Giants. But the play everyone was talking about was this.
Another trick play as Olszewski throws. It's caught. Olszewski with the pass into the end zone for a Giants touchdown, Jameis Winston.
That, you heard that right. That was Kenny Albert on NFL on Fox. That was a pitch by Jameis Winston to the back to Jameis Winston for the touchdown. So the Giants just flat out don't care anymore, and they're pulling out all of the schoolyard BS with Jameis Winston.
Didn't they fire their offensive coordinator today?
I think
they did.
I know the Raiders did.
I think the Giants did too. Lions should be a little concerned with this win. They trailed most of that game to the 2-9 Giants.
Yeah, they did.
Jahmyr Gibbs erupted for 219 rushing yards, 45 receiving yards, and 3 touchdowns. Amon-Ra St. Brown had career high 4 drops in that game against the Giants. As for the Giants, that's their 5th blown double-digit lead of the season. Yeah. That's the other thing that's frustrating to the Giants is like they've had big leads on a lot of teams, and they're sitting there at 2-10 now. Mm-hmm. That ties an NFL record, by the way.
Good.
For the most times the team has had double-digit leads and has lost. Wan'Dale Robinson had a career day, 156 yards. Like that, somebody that has him in fantasy. Coaching and situational execution, which failed repeatedly for the Giants.
Mike Kafka has confirmed that Shane Bowen has been relieved of his duties. Linebacker coach Charlie Bullen will assume the defensive coordinator role.
So the DC is
the defensive coordinator that was gone.
Hey man, you can't have Jameis Winston throwing and catching touchdowns on the same play.
I mean,
and not give that guy a promotion.
I know, right?
It's the defense that let him down.
Boys, we don't care anymore. It's off to the schoolyard. Another close game in Kansas City. This one also went to overtime. We'll give you the play that set it up and then the finish.
Stepping up and heaving it, and Worthy makes the catch, and they're in field goal range. And the kick is good. Kansas City survives.
And that was exactly right. Jim Nantz, NFL on CBS, as the Chiefs go up to 6-5, beating the now 8-3 Colts 23-20.
Chiefs are starting to slowly trend up. Colts are starting to slowly trend down. Kansas City finally wins a one-score game. Hey, it's been a long time. They keep their playoff hopes alive, as mentioned before, with the 23-20 win over to the Colts in overtime. Mahomes looked pretty good late. Rashid Rice goes for from 3 yards in the first half to 111 total on the game. Kareem Hunt had 104 rushing yards, and the defense really flipped the game, forced 4 straight Indy 3-and-outs as the Colts offense imploded. Only 5 first downs in the second half in overtime, went way too pass heavy. Jonathan Taylor, totally underused, who, by the way, is good enough to be an MVP this season for the NFL, and they have now lost their division lead. It's a big question for Shane Steichen right now. Colts starting to trend in the wrong direction at the wrong time. These are our Colts.
Stop it. The Baltimore Ravens defeating the New York Jets in Baltimore 23-10. Ravens now 6-5. Like we said at the top of the show, it's 2 6-5 teams, 2 very different outlooks.
Yes, absolutely. Ravens are going in the correct direction, and a good win for the Ravens. Continue to do good things. They're going to win that division. Moving on.
Shedeur Sanders had 1 week of practice, and that was apparently all he needed. Cleveland Browns beating the Vegas Raiders 24-10. Browns now 3-8 on the season, 1-0 in the Shedeur Sanders starting era, with the Vegas Raiders falling to 2-9.
Shedeur Sanders wins his debut. He'd had a lot of big playability, flashed it a lot. I mean, he is going against the Raiders, though. How about the fact that Kevin Stefanski yesterday said Dylan Gabriel will start when healthy, and then today they announced that Dylan Gabriel, who has cleared concussion protocol,
he won't be healthy for a while.
He's going to be healthy, and now he's not going to play.
Great.
So it's going to be Shedeur. Myles Garrett has 18 sacks, career and franchise record. He's chasing the 22.5 all-time NFL record. I think he's going to be able to get to that. Geno Smith sacked 10 times behind an awful offensive line for the Raiders. Offense is dysfunctional. You know, Geno's obviously not the long-term answer. Chip Kelly's not the long-term answer either. At the offense coordinator, they fired him after 1 year. Missed opportunities early, doomed the Raiders. The Raiders continue to be the Raiders.
We'll go through this one quickly. In a game that nobody watched, Jacksonville beat Arizona 27-24.
I watched that game because I had the Jags in Survivor.
You're the only one.
No, there was 2 other people that had them in Survivor picks.
They're
7-4, firmly in the AFC South race. They're only a game behind the Colts, the Jags. I don't care if it was scary against the Cardinals. I'm just glad that they won. Cardinals have lost now 8 of the last 9. Could be weeks before next win. Michael Wilson is emerging as a wideout. 10 catches, 118 yards. Week 14 matchup for the Jags and Indy could be the division championship. You didn't think that was going to be the case a couple of weeks ago when Indy was rolling.
Was not looking like it was going to be a good day down at Jerry World as the Cowboys were having a very tough time with the
Oh God. Learn how to spell your team's name if you want to be mayor in said city, please.
Devontae Smith. Now I got this highlight before the game was over, and I didn't feel like going back to get it. I didn't feel like doing this highlight to begin with. Devontae Smith, though, made one hell of a catch.
Eagles need to get to the 40. Hurts loading up, going deep. Devontae Smith comes back and gets it. Oh, Devontae Smith on a beautiful throw and a bomb and a first down for the Eagles.
Eagles lose the game 24-21 after leading 21-0.
As Schotty said, Schottenheimer spotted him 21 points. Came back and won 24-21. Historic comeback, tied biggest in team history for the Dallas Cowboys. Are now 5-5-1 heading into Kansas City on Thanksgiving. CeeDee Lamb continues to have drop problems. He had 3 more drops, 8 on the season. Dak clutch in the final minute, overcame a lot of coaching mistakes by the Dallas Cowboys. Eagles 21-0 lead they blew. Injuries on defense continue to mount. Saquon fumbled, Gibson muffed punt, fatal miscues. Hurts was good early, cold late, pressure grew after reports of internal frustration. They still lead the NFC East, but lost ground on the number 1 seed as the Rams are now the number 1 seed in the NFC. Cowboys still hanging around. And how about Thursday's game? Chiefs and Cowboys, 2 organizations hanging around for the playoffs.
Tony Gwynn Jr. here from Gwynn and Chris. When baseball ends, Aztec basketball starts. We'll keep you up to date on the season, game by game, and cover everything in between. Gwynn and Chris, weekdays from 2 to 6 on 97.3 The Fan.
Michael Jr. here from Monday Night Football on Westwood One. Coming up, NFC action from the West Coast when Brock Purdy and the 49ers host the Carolina Panthers. Both are coming off a win and looking for another to keep pace in their division races. My dad and I will be here for the pregame, and then Ryan Radke and Ryan Fitzpatrick will call.
1 o'clock on the Monday before Thanksgiving. Thanks again for joining us each and every day on the Braden Surprenant Show. We greatly appreciate it. And right now, it is time. You know what time it is, Frank? We're going to try it again. What time is it? Almost there.
1 o'clock.
It is 1 o'clock. What does that mean?
No,
Gracie, it's not nap time.
It's the final hour of the show.
It is the final hour of the show. What time is it?
1 o'clock? Dude, 1:01. Is that what you were looking for?
No. It's time to announce today's biggest fan.
There it is. Okay.
Come on. We want to say congratulations to today's biggest fan, Tom O'Neill in Ramona. Give us a call within the next 10 minutes at 833-288-0973, and you'll qualify for a grand prize, 20 tickets for you and your friends for a night in our Odyssey Suite at a Padres game with all of the fan staff later this season. Catered by Spiro's Mediterranean Cuisine. Remember to register your name at 97throughthefansd.com/biggest-fan today. Tom O'Neill in Ramona, you're today's biggest fan. Tom O'Neill. Give us a call, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Tom O'Neill. Somebody alert Tom to call in to the radio station. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Tom O'Neill, you have 10 minutes to try to qualify.
Oh, 9.5.
There you go. Gracie was ready to call in. Wasn't her. Rod, Tom O'Neill doesn't even like sports. Nate, he's taking a nap. I love it. All right, so while we wait for Tom to see if Tom O'Neill gives us a phone call, there's a lot of stuff we got to get to still that we want to get to. I do want to mention that all guests on 97th The Fan join us on the David P. Shapiro Fan Hotline. David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys, helping good people regain control of their future when charged with the crime since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. This hour of 97th The Fan is brought to you by Toyota of Poway, voted San Diego's #1 Toyota dealer by USA Today. It's the season to save at Toyota of Poway. The Black Friday sales event is on with brand new Toyotas in stock and ready to roll. Hurry to Toyota of Poway or ToyotaofPoway.com and drive home happy this holiday. A couple things I want to get to. I want to get to San Diego FC in our next segment, Frank. We're going to do that there.
Okay.
I do want to talk about Aztecs basketball and high school football. I think we should do the high school football stuff tomorrow since there's a championship game tomorrow.
Yeah. We'll
kind of recap what happened in the division semifinals.
Works for me.
And then we will get to we will talk a little bit more about the championship game tomorrow and everything like that. So let's dive into Aztecs basketball tonight. And then we're gonna get to San Diego FC in just a little bit. So Aztec basketball will take on Michigan tonight, 7:30. We have two big games in town. San Diego FC will be playing Minnesota, and the winner will be into the conference final in the Western Conference, the MLS playoffs. And then we have at 7:30 in Vegas, we have San Diego State basketball taking on Michigan. And we're going to talk about that as well here in just a second. So, as of right now, San Diego State is playing in the Players Era Festival. The Players Era Festival started earlier this morning. Tennessee knocked off Rutgers. And we have Baylor and Creighton battling it out right now. As Baylor and Creighton are coming down to the wire, Baylor just threw the ball away. And they have a 3-point lead. So Baylor's up 77-74 on Creighton with 18.4 seconds left in the game. Notre Dame and Kansas just tipped off not too long ago. They're under 10 minutes to go in the first half. Kansas has a 22-16 lead on the Fighting Irish. That's all part of this tournament that San Diego State is playing in. They hit in a Monday night in Las Vegas facing one of the most expensive and most hyped rosters in college basketball. Brian Dutcher didn't mince words about how Michigan built it when he was asked about it earlier this week. Michigan's roster is loaded with high-profile transfers from UCLA, Illinois, UAB, North Carolina, Alabama, and Ohio State, and is reportedly valued over $12 million in NIL, making it one of the highest-priced lineups in the country. Brian Dutcher acknowledged this week in an article by Mark Ziegler Quote, it looks like a really good roster that money had a lot to do with getting. They have really good NIL. Michigan nearly grabbed San Diego State's own rising star, 7-footer Magoon Guath, in the springtime. The reigning Mountain West freshman and defensive player of the year entered the portal, spoke to Dusty May and the Wolverines multiple times, including discussions about NIL, before ultimately returning to San Diego State, saying, quote, my heart was still here, which is good news for the Aztecs. They're able to keep players like Magoon Guath. This matchup obviously carries that deep emotional layer, too. Brian Dutcher spent 9 years at Michigan under Steve Fisher, winning a national title and playing in 2 more Final Fours before the staff was fired amid a booster scandal. Ironically, he now faces a version of Michigan that fully embraces the big money era. I mean, him and Steve Fisher got let go at Michigan for a booster scandal with money and paying players, and now it's like Michigan's bragging about the $12 million roster they have assembled. It's crazy how teams have been put together and how everything is played off now in this new era of NIL. Aztecs also face this game with urgency. I mean, after an embarrassing 108-107 double overtime loss at home to Troy, which is one of the worst non-conference losses in the Dutcher era, the defeat was humbling, exposing San Diego State's lack of physicality, intensity, and the players know it. Las Vegas has historically been good to the Aztecs. They're 36-12 in their last 48 games in Vegas, 9-2 in their last 11 non-conference tournament games, and last year's resume making wins over Creighton and Houston in this same event helped push them in the NCAA tournament. Aztecs have to have a good week this week. Otherwise, it's going to be, you better win the Mountain West Conference tournament. Field's even better than it was last time. There's 18 teams, 9 are ranked, and every school gets $1 million for being in this tournament. Michigan, meanwhile, undefeated but a little shaky. They're 4-0 with narrow escapes and an overtime win versus Wake Forest and a late rally against TCU. We talked to Jamie Dixon about that game earlier today, who was the head coach of the Horned Frogs. Michigan's also shooting just 21.2% from 3 over the last 3 games. Dusty May, the head coach at Michigan, says they're a work in progress with a, quote, high ceiling. Monday is strength on strength. Michigan, bully ball, massive front line, NBA-size roster. Aztecs, defense, toughness, despite a recent lapse in both of those things. A win would be one of the biggest non-conference resume boosters of the Aztec season and a much-needed palate cleanser. This is a very important game for San Diego State. We talked about the storylines, Brian Dutcher's connection to Michigan, Magoon Guath potentially being one of those players on that $12 million roster earlier in the spring when he was recruited by it in the transfer portal, and that Michigan roster at $12 million that they're spending compared to what else they got, what else everybody else has. 18-team field, 9 ranked teams. Aztecs could face Oregon, or they're going to face Oregon later. They could also face Auburn later this week. This is a good time for them to bounce back and get you some resume building deal. I think this is a good opportunity for San Diego State. I mean, they're going against what is one of the most talented rosters in college basketball, one of the most expensive rosters in college basketball. And you know what? As much as the Troy game was embarrassing, maybe it's the shot in the arm that the Aztecs need to finish and go through non-conference play. This is a great opportunity tonight for the Aztecs. They could really flip the script on what has happened already in the season by losing to Troy at home with a neutral site win over Michigan. It's a little bit better of a journey for San Diego State. It's a quicker trip for them going to Vegas than it is for Michigan. And despite the $12 million roster, I mean, I know TCU's roster isn't worth $12 million as somebody that watches them on a daily basis. And they were hanging tough with the Michigan team. I mean, we're talking about a TCU team that lost to New Orleans at the beginning of the season. New Orleans isn't very good. And they were going toe-to-toe with Michigan and lost by 4. And it was the rebounding that killed them. So I'd like to see how San Diego State's going to do with that bully ball mentality. And they got to be able to shoot from beyond the arc. I mean, the Aztecs are going to have to make some threes. It's going to be Miles Bird having to take control. Reese Dixon Waters is going to have a big game from beyond the arc, too. I know he missed a couple of threes late in the contest against Troy, but he needs to have a big day. And Magoon Guath needs to be able to get some rebounds against a very massive, physical, and inside dominant team of Michigan. I mean, I think we preached enough that drive the ball in the lane against a weaker opponent like Troy, it's going to be tough to do that today against the Wolverines. Now, the one thing that you do have an advantage of is you do know how to guard, even though they didn't see it. Got to play good defense and make Michigan have to work outside because they are not successful from beyond the arc. They're shooting 21.2% from beyond the arc in their recent couple games. And again, they're even though they're 4-0, they beat Wake Forest in overtime by 1. They survived against TCU by 4. Aztecs need to be able to overcome the loss of Troy and be able to get out there. I mean, Reese Dixon-Waters said they got punked by Troy. Knocked San Diego State out of AP Top 25 voting for the first time this season. And they mentioned in the loss that they had a lack of physicality against Troy. Well, they're going to need that tonight against Michigan. But, Frank, this is a very big game, very important game for the Aztecs against Michigan and a very important and fun tournament that we've had on all morning long, and it's been fun to watch. You got some big-time programs playing in this thing.
Yeah, you got some big schools playing in this tournament, and this is a real chance for you to really boost your status, to try to help erase that loss of Troy, and that starts tonight here against Michigan, which is, again, as you mentioned, a very, very good program. And if you can win tonight, I think that goes a big, big way into getting some of that national status back that you may have lost from that Troy loss.
There's so many connections between this Michigan team and the San Diego State team. I mean, this is a Michigan team, remember, that Brian Dutcher used to coach in that program. He won a national championship with Steve Fisher at Michigan, went to multiple Final Fours. Going against the Michigan team that's now coached by Dusty May, who the Aztecs beat in the Final Four to go to the NCAA national championship game. When Dusty May was at Florida Atlantic, they had that shot. The Butler did it. Chris Ellis played that shot call on this radio station probably like 1,000 times. So you have that connection. You have the connection that Dusty May was trying to recruit Magoon Gwath in the springtime when he entered the transfer portal and had multiple discussions about NIL and all these other conversations to try to get him to transfer to out of San Diego State to Michigan. And he ends up coming back to San Diego State. So there's a lot of storylines with this game, but ultimately this is they got to be able to compete very closely with Michigan. I think even if they lose, it's not going to be the end of the world, but they have to win at least one game in the Players Era Festival to really feel good about themselves moving forward for the rest of the conference, for the rest of the non-conference and the rest of the season. Now they have another opportunity later in December. They will play Arizona in Phoenix at a quote neutral site. We know, I mean, U of A travels anyway. They're playing in Phoenix. Are you kidding me? You'd be all over that. It's going to be basically a road game for the Aztecs. Unless, Aztec fans travel pretty well too. But they'll have another opportunity against Arizona, who has done a great job early in the season, try to build the resume. But last year in this tournament, Frank, I don't want to say it's a must-win right now, but last year in this tournament, the 2 wins that you got against Creighton and Houston were the reason why you made the NCAA tournament as a play-in game. Yeah,
Absolutely. And that's what these tournaments can really help, as I mentioned, boost your national status again, especially after getting knocked around by Troy. Going to double overtime against Troy is not a good look. You didn't get any AP top 25 votes at all. Forget about making the top 25. You didn't get any votes in the top 25. And to beat high quality programs like the ones you're going to be facing over the next couple of days is absolutely critical. I would say, yeah, it is a must win because you're not going to get too much help from your conference.
Right. I mean, the conference did not do you any favors by losing games early. San Diego State didn't do any favors to themselves, helping with the conference.
Boise State lost a pay game.
There's
at the start of the year.
UNLV has lost 2 to 3 paid games already. Not only a paid game, Frank, they lost to a team that is in a shopping mall.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They lost to a team in a strip mall in Hawaii. You didn't even believe me when I told you that.
No, I did not.
They're not even a good D2 team or whatever division they are. It's a big game tonight for San Diego State. It's also a big game tonight for San Diego FC. We'll get you a preview of that when we come back. Frank and I will discuss. We'll get Frank's take on tonight's game. We will also hear from Drake Hills coming up at 1:35 to discuss the game a little bit further as we continue on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97 through the Fan. We're going to have Drake Hills on in just a little bit. Do want to mention that this hour on 97 through the Fan is brought to you by Mission Fed. From first accounts to big life moments, Mission Fed can help. Savings shouldn't be stressful. Mission Fed makes it easier with great rates on savings, certificates, and ultra money market accounts. Grow your money the smart way. Check the latest rates and open an account at missionfed.com. Membership and account criteria apply. We do want to talk about this soccer game tonight, MLS Cup Playoffs, as San Diego FC will be taking on Minnesota United in the Western Conference semifinal. The game will start at 7 o'clock here at Snapdragon Stadium in town, and a win, they will be in the Western Conference final, as Vancouver has already punched their ticket to the Western Conference final. All right, let's talk about this game a little bit more. San Diego FC enters the biggest match in its brief history, obviously, the Western Conference semis against Minnesota United, carrying both confidence and caution after a bizarre first meeting between the clubs earlier this season. In September, San Diego FC dominated every statistical category, 28-6 in shots, 14-6 in shots on target, 66% possession, and nearly 330 more completed passes, yet they were routed 3-1, undone by poor finishing and 3 second-half goals from Minnesota. Pellegrino summed it up perfectly, quote, "If you don't score goals, you don't win the game." It's pretty simple. This rematch with a trip to the conference final on the line now revolves around a handful of storylines. But Frank, as mentioned before, if you look back to remember that game, that was a game that San Diego FC dominated across the statistical board and in the box score. But the only stat that matters is goals, and that's where they didn't execute.
No, exactly right. And I remember going to that game. They had several big opportunities. Several balls clank off the fence, off the uprights. I mean, they had their opportunities. A couple goals called back for offside. They had plenty of opportunity to win that game and just didn't. So I think they will be up for it. I believe they will be ready for the challenge here tonight. They've played Minnesota very, very well. Minnesota's also played San Diego FC very, very well. So it's going to be a very fun game to watch. And yes, it will only be on Apple TV+.
Let's talk about some of the things that the Union Tribune laid out, an article by Ryan Finley about the 4 storylines to watch in this match tonight. Number 1 was the 2-week playoff break. Is this a momentum killer or a timely reset for teams in the MLS, Frank?
I mean,
because San Diego FC was red hot, right, going into the playoffs.
I wouldn't say they were red hot, but they were good. I mean, they were rolling. That loss in game 2, you immediately come back with a win in game 3, a dominating win in game 3, and you also have to think a lot of these guys that needed rest have had rest, but also a lot of the guys that you want playing. Anders Dreyer, for example, they were playing. They were out and they were keeping up.
And even though they're not playing with San Diego FC, they're still out there playing. They're not sitting on their couch for 2 weeks.
In World Cup qualifiers.
Right.
So, yeah.
High-level competition.
Yeah, so they were playing. They were keeping that momentum up. So, it can go either way. I personally don't mind getting a little bit of rest and having your key guys still contributing around the world. So that's...
Some of your players that were around the world, though, were a little bit of a health concern, but it sounds like they're going to be okay. I mean, yes. Chucky Lozano skipped the Mexico duty due to a hamstring issue. Andres Dreyer, who's the newcomer of the year and MVP finalist for San Diego FC, was sidelined due to a virus and missed Denmark's qualifier, but both returned to training, and Coach Mike Ibarra confirmed they will both play. Dreyer is the one irreplaceable piece on this team, the team's leader in goals and assists. Lozano, despite late-season drama and a benching, is a massive factor in penalty shootouts. He and Dreyer were the only 2 to convert in San Diego FC's first-ever shootout versus Portland.
Yeah, and I mean, that shootout was just – it was so bad. It really, really was. It was not great. You really don't want to go to that penalty shootout this time around if you don't absolutely have to. And I think San Diego FC can be explosive enough to be able to take this game in the 90.
How do you think Lozano does? What kind of impact does Lozano have in San Diego FC tonight?
I think, if any, it might be a second half sub again. I think Pellegrino has played his way onto the pitch. Now, if you want to play, I think what they would do is you have whoever, I would say Baird, start as your striker, have Pellegrino and Dreyer on the wing, and then you sub maybe at halftime or early in the second half, sub Baird off for Lozano and then move Pellegrino to that center striker spot. That's what's worked for them over the last couple of games, and that's what has been so successful for them. That is personally what I would do. I wouldn't be upset if they started him, and I think he's going to have to play a big role.
Set piece crisis. Minnesota's superpower coming into this match. Minnesota United leads MLS with 25 set piece goals, 41% of their scoring. No accident. Their coach, Eric Ramsey, ran set-piece strategy at Manchester United. San Diego, just 10 set-piece goals all year. For San Diego FC goalkeeper Pablo Cisnega, making his second straight playoff start due to CJ Dos Santos' injury. Communication should be critical in tonight's match, Frank. Minnesota can steal a match with one well-designed restart.
Yeah, set pieces, for those of you who don't know, that's corner kicks, spotted free kicks, where like you have the wall set up. That so that's
41% of Minnesota's goals.
Yeah, so that's fouls in close, which is something in penalty kicks as well. That's fouls in close. I'm sure a lot of those are corners. More of them are corners than they are free kicks. But that's something you cannot do. A team this deep into a season, this deep into a playoff run, you're kind of playing with house money because no one expected you to do this, but you cannot afford to make those mistakes against a quality opponent like Minnesota United and like Vancouver, like you're going to see if you win tonight's game.
Who will score for San Diego FC? So since September, and that September loss that San Diego FC had to Minnesota, they have scored 17 goals. 8 have been by Dreyer, 6 have been from Pellegrino. Only 3 other goals by the entire roster combined. San Diego is obviously elite when Dreyer and Pellegrino are cooking, but dangerously dependent on those 2 particular players. If Minnesota locks in on those 2 particular players, the match could come down to maybe somebody else having to take the chance for San Diego FC. Do you see a situation in which San Diego FC's depth or other players come through tonight besides Dreyer and Pellegrino? Can they afford to not have Pellegrino or Dreyer score?
I think one of them, if not both of them, will score tonight if it's a multi-goal game. The thing you really would really like to have happen is to have one of your tall defensemen get out and get a goal from a corner. That is something you would love to have happen tonight. Hopefully have it happen early, putting a lot of pressure. You know Snapdragon is going to be full. You know it is going to be rowdy. You know it is going to be loud. Use that momentum early in this game. But I believe if one of them doesn't score, I would have to think Lozano might have a helping hand in it. They really haven't had to rely on their midfielders trying to score a lot this year. De Los Santos hasn't had to. Godoy hasn't really had to. Yepe really hasn't had to. He's scored a couple of corners this season, and we've talked about it all year long. Aside for that time that Ilosky was in your striker positions, they've got nothing from that center striker spot. So it can definitely hurt you being so overly reliant on those guys, but it hasn't hurt them so far. It has not hurt them this year.
Let's talk about one more. Well, we're going to talk more about San Diego FC here in the next segment with Drake Hills. Do want to get to your phone calls, 833-288-973, 833-288-973. Let's get out to Ron in La Mesa joining the show. Ron, what's going on, man?
Well, Braden, I'm doing well. And how much longer before Frank has his own Saturday 10 to 12 spot for FC soccer? I'm looking forward to it, Frank. You're knowledgeable.
I would love that. Thank you.
You're welcome. I don't know if you caught the Utah K-State game this weekend, Brady.
I did.
Dude, what is it about Utah and the referees? Yes, I'm bitter, but that was such an unbelievable game for K-State. And to get screwed over by about 5 calls that nobody else would say, I just got to get it off my chest, Brady. That's all. And then also the Big 12 basketball. I'm telling you what, I didn't have any idea K-State was going to, Jerome Tang was going to put together another all-transfer team like they did in 2022, but it's going to be solid.
Big 12 basketball is going to be fun, Ron. I appreciate the phone call. Yeah, Ron's big K-State guy. Is my Big 12 brethren that likes to call in from La Mesa. The Utah K-State game was, I saw a lot of Kansas State fans complaining about the officiating in that game, against the Utah Utes. I mean, K-State had a multi-touchdown lead on Utah, then threw a pick, frankly. Kansas State went for 2 and threw the pick 2 back, and then all of a sudden things started to unravel for Kansas State on the road against Utah. A lot of bad calls not going their way. Saw a lot of K-State people upset about that. That was rough. But Utah, everybody gets hosed in college football to an extent.
I was watching that game. I went out to lunch yesterday and the game was on. I was quite happy because I think I knew that I had picked that game. I didn't realize that you two had picked that game as well. I was like, well, my pick's going to win. I like that. But other than that, I didn't get to see much of the game.
I went 8-2 last week.
Yeah, I know you did.
That's surprising.
Yeah.
It's mostly, I was like, that game's going to be closer than the spread says. That game's going to be closer. That game's going to be closer. Mm-hmm. Or, no way SC hangs with Oregon.
Yeah, but again, like I said, it was the week where every SEC team was playing a D3 school. It's like, well, we can't pick that game now, can we?
No, you can't even bet on those games half the time. The TCU game was frustrating to watch. This is my thing on and I know nobody cares, but watching college football and being a TCU fan, they're 7-4. They're going to beat Cincinnati next week at home just because, of course, they are. And they're going to finish the season 8-4. They're going to get placed in a lousy bowl game. They're going to they might be projected to go to the Independence Bowl in Shreveport, Louisiana, take on Louisiana Tech. They'll win that game too, like they did last year. They're going to finish 9-4 back-to-back years. But I have never seen, Frank, a fan base be so on the opposite page of what the team is. Every TCU win this year, aside from their game against North Carolina, where they just blew out North Carolina and looked legit across the board. And they've had a lot of injuries. They're not the same team that played against North Carolina at the beginning of the year. Every single win that they have had has felt like a loss because they have played so poorly. With multiple turnovers and just a circus on a lot of different things. And so, it's not even fun to watch them win. It's just like watching them lose every week, but their record looks like they have a winning record. But the team and their staff act like they've accomplished all these great things. It's no, you're 8-4. You're going to go 8-4 this year. If you go 7-5, that's going to be a joke. But you can't sit there and say, your expectations are to be in the Big 12 championship race every year and then be excited that you won 8 games. You're like, oh, we're going to a bowl game. Anybody cares. I'm sorry. It
sounds
where the money's for.
It sounds familiar to me. And I want you to get in on this. It sounds like a team that is known as the Frogs. Okay, way to hang me out to dry on that.
The Bears?
Yeah.
Yeah, but the difference is the
worst 7-4 team you've ever heard of. But you have heard of us.
The difference is, though, for the Bears, it's the NFL. You just need to win. You don't need to win with any type of style points. In college football, you have to try to win with style points to try to get into the playoff. But your goal as a college football team, especially in the Power Four, is to be competing for championships every year. And they're not doing that. It's just it's frustrating to watch on my own personal soapbox here. But it's I don't know how the fan base wants everybody fired, and the entire team thinks they're accomplishing all these great things. It's like that meme with Nicolas Cage and the dude that's just having a good time in the car.
Mm-hmm.
That whole thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the guy having a good time in the car is the team and the coaching staff think this is great. We're 7-4, and then the fan base is like, oh my god, this team sucks.
Thanks.
TCU they get the ball, but they play Houston. And here's the other thing. Houston's terrible. They're the worst 8-2 team I've ever seen. Defensively, TCU shut them down. But Houston looked bad the entire game and lost the game. They physically lost the game, and unfortunately, that means TCU ends up winning the game. But TCU was driving with under 2 minutes to go. They get inside the red zone against Houston. Houston doesn't have any timeouts left. On fourth down, TCU. This is the whole portion where I'm dropping off my friend at the wedding going, like, oh, they're about to run the clock out. They're going to win this game. Good for them. I drop her off. I get back in the I look back. I put the game on, and Houston has the ball with 1 minute and 15 seconds left, and somehow have reached the 20-something yard line of TCU, looking to kick a game-tying field goal to set it to overtime. And thank God the guy chunked it and missed it left. Otherwise, TCU would have they probably would have lost it in overtime. But it was just terrible football across the board. And you know what? That team seems to be okay with it. Their fan base is not. That team is. It's been frustrating watching college football this year. Penn State's been lousy. TCU's been lousy. Tennessee's been okay. I mean, all of our teams, Frank, are not doing great. The only one that's doing great right now is the Aztecs, and they didn't look very good on offense on Saturday.
No, they did not.
So that's us ranting about college football. Drake had a good time at Oregon with the Oregon Ducks. They hammered USC. We expected that. We'll get the full recap from him on that, since Derek and LaMesa did not give us his Oregon recap. And we'll talk about San Diego FC's game tonight. Again, playoff match against Minnesota. Everything you need to know with Drake Hills to finish up the show. All right. Wasn't able to get to the midday sports standoff, but if you take me down in sports trivia, you'd be qualified to win a chance to see Sammy Hagar as he returns to Las Vegas with his best of all world's Las Vegas residency. Get ready to rock with your favorite hits from the Van Halen years, Sammy solo hits, and more. Only in Las Vegas this March 11th through the 21st and September 18th to the 26th at Dolby Live at Park MGM. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. This hour of 97 Through the Fan is brought to you by Mission Fed. From first accounts to big life moments, Mission Fed can help. Saving shouldn't be stressful. Mission Fed makes it easier with great rates on savings certificates and Ultra Money Market accounts. Grow your money the smart way. Check the latest rates and open an account at missionfed.com. Membership and account criteria apply. It's time to talk more about San Diego FC. Big playoff game tonight, 7 o'clock, Snapdragon Stadium, as they take on Minnesota. It will be a game that will, if they win, will move them to the Western Conference Final. Would be great in the first year of San Diego FC. And to break it down a little bit more is Drake Hills. He usually joins us on Friday, but with our Friday being off this week and with San Diego FC playing tonight, felt useful to bring him on again today. Drake Hills coming off of a big win over USC for his college team, the Oregon Ducks. What's going on?
Yeah, the Ducks, pretty much, I have two different opinions when it comes to the Oregon Ducks, particularly with the defense. The cornerbacks, they make me nervous, man. They really do. I mean, I get it. USC had the two dangerous wide receivers on the outside. They were kind of killing us in the first half, but our D-line is impeccable, and I'm grateful for the front seven. Bryce Betcher, potential big leaguer. I don't know. Maybe I'm biased, Braden, but Oregon Ducks moving on. Got a big one against UW this weekend. But, yeah, San Diego FC, the last conference final ticket has yet to be punched, and that's what's up for grabs tonight at Snapdragon.
Yeah, that's what's up for grabs. Vancouver has already punched their ticket as they knocked off LAFC in penalty kicks in their Western Conference semifinal game. And on the Eastern side, it was New York City beating Philadelphia, knocking off the 1 seed, and then Miami upsetting Cincinnati. So you got the 3 versus the 5 in the Eastern Conference, and looking to try to get the 1 versus the 2 in the Western Conference. Let's take a deeper look at this particular game. We went over some of the storylines as laid out by the San Diego Union Tribune. I want to get your take on this. And some of them are with the health, some of them are set pieces, but the big one, again, is this 2-week playoff break that they have had. How do you think that works out for both Minnesota and San Diego FC with MLS pausing for FIFA international window? Does it kill momentum or is it a timely rest? How do you see it playing out for both teams coming off of this break?
Yeah, I do think it creates a bit of a shift momentum-wise. I think if you look at most of the teams, you're not going to sit here and say that there is a huge lump of guys who are going out to national team duty over the course of early November. But it does kind of create that bit of mental focus, or I should say mental refocus. I think that's what it's really all about, as opposed to who's going on international duty or not. I mean, look at the hysteria. Philadelphia Union has been pretty much the team in the Eastern Conference, and they get shut out against a very talented NYCFC team. I mean, let's be honest, Matt Freese, who is probably going to be the number one, and what I mean the number one, that means the starting goalkeeper for the U.S. men's national team at the FIFA World Cup, at least as it stands right now in the eyes of head coach Mauricio Pochettino. He's with NYCFC. And so when you have kind of your guys going on international duty, I think that's one thing, but it's more so about the focus and the intensity that you need to go to Philadelphia and get a win as a 5 seed. And then, of course, I think Miami's a little bit different. Obviously, probably one of the more internationally laden rosters in MLS, Lionel Messi included. But I think from the Vancouver side of things, obviously they have Jaden Nelson, a couple of guys representing Canada, but also Sebastian Bullhalter for the U.S. When it comes to San Diego against Minnesota, I think it is more so about protecting home field advantage and having to basically play the psychological game, because we know what happened in mid-September when Minnesota came to San Diego and came from 1 goal behind to win 3-1. So I think it's more so about the focus as well as the cohesion of the group and kind of continuing that repetition and momentum.
When talking about this game, as we talk with Drake Hills, who is a contributing writer for Black Players for Change, he also is a contributing writer for ESPN.com. And this particular conversation about San Diego FC. Again, we spent a lot of the time talking about World Cup qualifying on Friday, but the other thing that was part of tonight's matchup was the health of both of these teams. And for San Diego FC, with the international break, a couple of things got a little dicey there for San Diego FC, but Mikey Varas has said that both Chucky Lozano and Andres Dreyer will play in tonight's game. But Chucky Lozano missed some time with Team Mexico for a hamstring. Andres Dreyer was out with an illness for a little bit for Denmark. How do you see health playing into tonight's matchup?
Yeah, I do think it's a bit of a concern. I think more so, well, I think it's debatable because you can say that Andres Dreyer has obviously been the front runner since Chucky Lozano, not only had, I would say maybe an off spell offensively, but also at the end of the regular season with the disciplinary issues. Andres Dreyer has been the consistent calling card for the San Diego team. So you can say that Andres Dreyer and his illness that kept him, or I guess pulled him away from Denmark, that was more concerning. But then again, Chucky Lozano, I think he is and can be argued to be the X factor. We know that he hasn't really had that guaranteed starting role since the start of the regular season. He's played a substitute role and has obviously contributed offensively with a goal. But I think they need both of them. San Diego FC needs Chucky Lozano in the lineup as they do Andres Dreyer. And I think they both need to, if not score, I think they need to combine for a couple of goals here because Minnesota United is no joke. I mean, we know that they are a polar opposite of San Diego. They are the team that is going to let San Diego be San Diego, have all the possession, pass the ball around, try as many attacking ploys as they want. But when Minnesota gets that possession, they're going to launch the hardest counterattack. And if you foul them, they're going to continue to be the best specialist set-piece team in the Western Conference, I think, with Michael Boxall at the front of the spear for that. So I think San Diego FC needs a healthy Andres Dreyer, but they also need a healthy Chucky Lozano.
You start Chucky Lozano tonight, or you have him as a second-half sub like they used him last time?
Yeah, I think you need to start him. I get it. If it's a disciplinary thing, which I think it no longer is. I think there was a bit of tactic, I guess you can call it chess from Mikey Varas there, but I think that you do need your strongest lineup against a Minnesota United team. Mind you, whether they start him or not, I do like Chucky Lozano in the penalty shootout, obviously, because not only is this the last ticket for the conference finals, but in order to beat a Minnesota team, which I think has the best goalkeeper for the penalty shootout in Dane St. Clair, who's the men's national team goalkeeper for Canada. So I think if you don't start him, you're definitely going to need him towards the end of the second half, just in case the penalty shootout is on the horizon.
Let's talk about set pieces, Drake. Minnesota's one of the best in the MLS. In fact, 41% of their goals have come on set pieces this season. San Diego's only gotten 10. Is this a major factor to watch in tonight's game? Is this a key in tonight's game?
100%. I think the way this game will be officiated will be important. I also think that if San Diego just remains patient, I think one of the things that we saw from that September game is they allowed Minnesota to kind of keep punching them, especially in the second half. I'm not sure Mikey Varas would say that was a lack of attention to detail or if it was just the sheer, I guess you could say, overall strength of a Minnesota team that has been able to do this consistently over the course of the season. And quite honestly, I think that when you take a look at what Andres Dreyer can do, if they can get that lead again, if they can get a 1-goal lead going into halftime, I do think that it really comes down to defending set pieces for San Diego to get that win to face Vancouver in the conference final on the 29th.
Well, we got a little bit of time left, not too much time, but 14 of the last 17 goals for San Diego FC have come from Dreyer and Pellegrino. Can San Diego FC win an MLS Cup with that much imbalance? I mean, only 3 other goals have come from not those 2 players. Is that something you're looking for tonight?
Yeah, I think that you're going to need Chucky Lozano. I really do. I just think that in order to advance at this level, and I know we're kind of hitting a dead horse here, but Minnesota is not a team that you can easily score on. They're not a team that allows goals in bunches. And then also you got to go through a really tough Vancouver team, which, the head-to-head looks very nice if you're San Diego. But the reality is this is the playoffs, and you never really know what's going to happen in the playoffs. And being able to score on volume is super important, as we saw from Miami. So I think ultimately they're going to need Chucky Lozano, Mal Pellegrino, and Anders Dreyer in order to get to an MLS Cup.
And we'll see if they're able to do that. Frank, appreciate the time as always. Thanks again. For Frank Marchese, I'm Braden Surprenant signing off for the day, as Gwen and Chris will come up next here on 97.3 The Fan. You've been listening to the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. See you guys Tuesday.